What's the point of watching football all weekend if you can't overanalyze it?
Reaction Monday is sponsored by the Roofing Guys.
The Fan. Rise and grind, ladies and gentlemen. It's about to get bumpy. Time to attack and dominate. This is Morning Juice with Brandon Beam and Bobby Carpenter.
As my friend Selena would say, liar. Not Brandon Beam. It's not Bobby Carpenter. Hell, it's not even Shark. Look what the cat dragged in. Tito. Ryan Baker here with you today. Bakes, how are you, my friend?
Heck, there's not even three of us. There's only two.
I think the last time there was a two-man juice was 2 years ago.
Okay.
Around this time. It's supposed to be me, it was supposed to be Shark, and it was Shark and producing, and then Jensen.
Okay.
From his home. Jensen got sick, couldn't do it, so Shark and I. It was like there was a snowstorm the night before, too. Like, it was hell getting... I may have hit somebody. I'm not sure. I hit something on the way in, but I couldn't tell what it was. But it was like one of those blinding snow kind of things, and I'm not sure.
No one can prove it, though.
Look, statute of limitations now, right? Been a year?
Is that why
2 years?
Is that why the donut's on the car still?
That's why.
Okay.
That's it. That's the reason.
That day.
Yes.
You wanted to commemorate it.
Yes. That's exactly right. Anyway, by the way, let me ask you this question here. We got a big show lineup for you. Let's do that first. We got a big show lineup for you today. It's all the normal stuff we have on Mondays, just so you know. It's just two different guys doing it for you. Carpenter would have made a joke right there, and I'm so glad he's not here. Bill Bender joins us at 6:30. We'll also have Bob McElligott on, the CBJ play-by-play guy, at 7:17, and then we'll close up in the 8 o'clock hour at about 8:28. Joshua Perry will join us. Did you hear what we did with Joshua Perry on Saturday? Did you catch all that or not?
I did not hear any of this.
So I had Tyvis on Fan Sports Saturday, and I mentioned to Tyvis that I saw a play. Like, there was this Oregon-Ohio State from the 15 game, but the 14 season, right? Where, like, there was like a highlight reel of that. It came up on my Twitter or Facebook feed, whatever. Anyway, the only highlight I saw of Tyvis in the whole thing was Tyvis diving at an Oregon player as he burst through for a 70-yard touchdown reception. Like, you see the guy catch the pass, Tyvis comes in last second and dives at the receiver, doesn't get him. I bring that up to Tyvis. I said, Tyvis, I didn't send it to you out of respect for you. I'm a nice guy sometimes, Bakes. Anyway, Tyvis says to me, it wasn't my fault. It was the linebacker's fault. And I said, what do you mean? And he throws the entire linebacking core under the bus on this play.
Oh, boy.
Right? Specifically mentions Joshua Perry, blaming him as well. During the break, without Tyvis knowing, I go into the producer studio there, and Cole calls. I get Joshua Perry on the line without Tyvis knowing. We come back from the break. I make sure Tyvis reiterates whose fault it was on that play. And then I bring, unbeknownst to Tyvis, Joshua Perry on the phone. And he and Joshua argue that play for a whole segment. Easy segment for me.
That's amazing.
Buckeye on Buckeye crime.
You just pull the string and let him go.
That's what I do. That's what I do. And it was fun. It was petty, and it was fun. Joshua Perry joins us as well. When you get up in the morning like this, I don't know what time you went to bed last night. I go to bed a little earlier than I normally would if I'm doing juice. And so I wake up, and there's a few text messages that were sent to me while I was sleeping. Are you a jerk for sending the text messages back, like responding to them at 5 o'clock in the morning or 5:30, knowing they're sleeping? I know these people are sleeping that sent me text messages, but I responded now anyway because I'm up. I hope you're up.
Well, I don't hope you're up. I will send them to a couple people that I know, aren't going to. Like, I sent you one, I think, saying, hey, we're good with Bobby Mack, you know. I think most people have their phones on silent at nighttime or low enough that it doesn't wake them up. So, but I wouldn't respond to just anybody. But only a select few would get that text.
All right. Are you ready for this? Is going to say Shark, but I know it's not Shark.
But I mean, we're playing the role of Shark today. So
let's do Today in History.
Time to get smarter. Morning Juice presents Today in History. Here's your professor, Mark the Shark.
Sponsored by Dr. Mark Levy. If you're snoring and not sleeping, call Dr. Mark Levy at 1-800-MORE-SLEEP.
Professor Baker, I think I could get behind that, Tito. I like that a lot here. Today is December 30th, 2024. It is the 365th day of the year because this is a leap year. One more day to go in 2024. On this day in 1853, the United States acquired nearly 30,000 square miles of additional northern Mexican territory with the signing of the Gadsden Purchase. The land, which we now call southern Arizona and southern New Mexico, was purchased for just $10 million, despite that deal being for $15 million originally. It was negotiated by U.S. Minister to Mexico James Gadsden, hence the Gadsden Purchase. In 1902, we had a new southing record. Nobody had ever been this far south on the globe before when Robert Falcon Scott, Ernest Henry Shackleton, and E.A. Wilson reached the Ross Ice Shelf at the head of the Ross Sea in Antarctica. The Ross Ice Shelf is the largest body of floating ice. The current estimate of its area is about 182,000 square miles. It is roughly the size of the Yukon Territory up in Canada. In 1922, the Union of Soviet Socialist Republics formed. With its capital in Moscow, it eventually incorporated 15 republics, constituted the largest country in the world until its dissolution in 1991. I remember growing up, Tito, when the Olympics were a thing, and it was a big deal. It was always the United States in the USSR, better known as the Soviet Union.
Hey, Christmas of the... Go ahead, play your thing.
No, you're good. I got no sound on this one.
Christmas of this year was the anniversary of the big event in 1989. Do you remember that one?
In 89?
I think it was 89. Might have been... I think it was 89. When Rocky fought Drago?
Oh, Rocky and Drago.
It was Christmas.
I thought you were saying The Miracle on Ice in 1980
that was 80.
Or something
That was
like
80.
that. At 8 p.m. on this day in 1936, we had one of the first sit-down strikes in the United States as the auto workers occupy the General Motors Fisher Body plant, number 1 in Flint, Michigan. The auto workers were striking to win recognition of the United Auto Workers as the only bargaining agent for GM's workers. They also wanted to make the company stop sending work to non-union plants and to establish a fair minimum wage scale, a grievance system, and a set of procedures that would help protect assembly line workers from injury. All in all, the strike lasted 44 days. This day in 1978, Woody Hayes would be dismissed by Ohio State, ending his 28 years as the Buckeyes head coach. The night before, of course, Hayes punched Clemson nose guard Charlie Ballman late in the fourth quarter of Clemson's 17-15 win in the Gator Bowl. Now, I'm not old enough to remember this, Tito, but obviously Woody Hayes and the lore of him still exists today.
It does. And by the way, to be fair, Charlie Ballman kind of had it coming. Anyway, yes, and it's funny because they didn't see it on the broadcast. Like when the broadcast was going on, Keith Jackson was doing the game. It was the Ohio State Clemson game, and they did not catch it when it happened. It didn't come out until later on, but then tough for Woody Hayes. It's the way it ended his legacy there at Ohio State. Still revered here.
Yes, and this day in 1986, the British government announced that electronic sensors would begin to replace canaries as early warning detectors of carbon monoxide in coal mines. If the canaries stopped singing, it was time to get the heck out.
Are you serious?
Yes, that's what they would do. They had canaries down in a coal mine, it's dark.
Sure.
And it's kind of, you can't see much or anything. The canaries kind of became pets to these guys, and it was kind of like a weird bond that they had with these things. And if they quit singing, you had to run.
Holy cow.
Some famous birthdays today. This day, 1945, British singer and actor Davy Jones of the Monkees was born.
I'm telling you right now.
Then I saw her face. Now I'm a believer.
Okay, so my first album I ever got was the Monkees' Greatest Hits. And I used to watch the Monkees TV show religiously after school. It was like in syndication at that point. I remember coming from school, and I've got this weird memory of this, Bakes, where I would come home and I would watch, it would be like the Monkees and then the Batman series, Adam West, and like the Brady Bunch.
Interesting. It's funny how we have certain things that we remember
Always
so
there,
clear
yeah.
as day. On this day in 1975, maybe the greatest golfer of all time one Eldritch Tiger Woods was born.
Many doubted we'd ever see it. But here it is. The return to glory. I never thought we'd see anything that could rival the hug with his father in 1997. But we just did.
That will be the greatest scene in golf forever, Jim Nantz.
And that hug with his children, if that doesn't bring a tear to your eye, if you're a parent, you're not human.
No, the whole euphoria of everything. The patrons, his emotion, the chanting. We will never see anything as exhilarating as that. Fantastic. Congratulations, Tiger. Unbelievable.
That, of course, was Tiger's improbable win at the Masters in 2019. This must be a great day for athletes because LeBron James, Akron's own, he was also born on this day in 1984.
To Jeff Van Gundy.
Iguodala to inbound. Shumpert trying to stay with Curry. Catches one dribble, steps back, puts up a three. Won't go. Rebound tip taken by Spates. Final seconds. It's over. It's over. Cleveland is a city of champions once again. The Cavaliers are NBA champions.
LeBron, as soon as that buzzer sounded, your emotions let loose. Can you describe what you're feeling right now?
Cleveland! This is for you!
Just a kid from Akron winning that title, coming back to the Cavs. A couple of deaths on this day. In 1967, American songwriter Burt Burns passed away of heart failure at the age of 38. One of his famous songs has become a Buckeye anthem. On this day in 1970, Sonny Liston, American boxer, former world heavyweight champion, dies of lung congestion and heart failure at the age of 40. To this day, foul play is still expected in Sonny Liston's death. 2014 German-born actress Louise Rainier. She's the first person to receive 2 Academy Awards for acting. She dies at the age of 104. In 2020, Don Wells, better known as Gilligan's Island Mary Ann, passes away at the age of 82. And then in 2022, American broadcast journalist and the first female nightly network news anchor, Barbara Walters, dies at the age of 93. And those are some of your historical events, birthdays, and passings for December 30th, the next to last day of the year.
Well done, as always, General or Professor. Coming up next, it's game week. The Rose Bowl's upon us. What do we need to see Wednesday? We'll discuss that next. Morning Juice on the Fan.
Fan traffic.
From the Atlas Butler Plumbing Services Traffic Center.
Care Heating and Cooling. Honest technicians, honest pricing. Call 1-800-COOLING.
At NJAM Insurance, we like to think of ourselves as a symphony. We start with a foundation of doing the right thing. Then we layer in dedicated reps, whose priority is you. Add in excellent discount programs. And last, but certainly not least, we put our policyholders first. And the reason we don't use jingles or mascots is because it's just not us. No jingles or mascots, just great insurance. NJM. Insurance underwritten by NJM Insurance Company and its subsidiaries.
In the U.S., there are about 60 million adults 65 and older. And last year, nearly 1 million of them were hospitalized due to flu, COVID, or RSV. That's nearly 1 million people who planned to go visit family or see friends, but ended up in the hospital instead. So get this season's vaccines, and don't let flu, COVID, or RSV make you just another number.
Risk less, do more. Get started at vaccines.gov. Paid for by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services.
Make your New Year's Eve celebration and football watch party a good deal better with Meijer. Fresh guac is always a hit. Mix up a batch with extra large fresh avocados. Now buy one, get one free. And Meijer tortilla chips are a perfect match. Assorted Meijer chips are 3 for $6 when you buy 3 or more. And Coca-Cola and Pepsi 12 packs are buy 2, get 1 free. Plus deposit where applicable. Bring more good to your holiday celebrations at Meijer. Exclusions apply. See the Meijer app for details.
Here, heart care helps you heal faster Advanced, minimally invasive procedures mean less time recovering and more living life. See how we care for all of you at MountCarmelForYou.com.
Hey, what's up? It's T-Bone. I just found out that Daisy Sour Cream launched their new French onion and ranch sour cream dips. I love dips, and these new dips from Daisy Sour Cream are a game changer. They taste just as good as if they were homemade. They're made with Daisy Sour Cream and real herbs and spices. The new dips from Daisy Sour Cream are made with ingredients you can find in your kitchen, nothing more. Get your favorite chips, wings, veggies, or whatever you like to dip, and check out these new French onion and ranch dips only from Daisy Sour Cream.
We're dealing at Reichert Ford. Hundreds of Fords in stock and priced to sell fast. With our lowest prices and 72-hour exchange policy, you can't buy the wrong car. Thousands of vehicles are waiting at ReichertFord.com. Get the right car at Reichert. We're dealing.
What's better than the sound of a Krispy Kreme truck delivering fresh donuts to McDonald's?
Enjoy a Krispy Kreme donut paired with an any-size hot or iced coffee for just $3. Offer valid 12/10 to 4/30/25 while supplies last. Price and participation may vary.
Rothman and Ice.
It's okay to say I'm more thinking about my teammates. Now, this might be our last year.
I get that.
But when you add that those guys put in more work than Mike McCarthy ever even thought of doing, that's it for me.
Rothman and Ice. Weekdays at noon.
Sponsored by Pella Columbus.
The Fan.
Healthcare.gov has plans for health because you have plans for life. All plans cover doctor visits and emergency care to keep you and your family running strong. All plans cover hospital stays and prescriptions so you can have peace of mind. Visit healthcare.gov to explore health plans from the brands you know. 4 out of 5 customers can find a health plan for $10 or less per month with financial help. Healthcare.gov is here for you. Final deadline to enroll is January 15th. Paid for by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services.
Flexible, secure, fun. Oh, and great pay, too. Are you not sure what you want to do for a career? Or are you thinking of changing careers? Being a dental hygienist or dental assistant may be the perfect fit for you and provides all of these perks, plus more. Talk with a dentist in your community or visit ODA.org to learn more. Become a valuable member of the dental team and start helping people love their smile. This message is brought to you by the members of the Ohio Dental Association.
Fan weather.
From the Logan AC and Heat Services Weather Center.
Time now to check in on that weather report. Cloudy out there right now, but I'm optimistic we get rid of these clouds later on today. Today's high 50, tonight's low 40. Tuesday, expect some rain in the morning. Showers could be heavy at times. Tomorrow's high 53. I'm meteorologist Dylan Robichaud with your 10 TV weather impact forecasts on 97.1 The Fan.
FanDuel is the exclusive online sportsbook partner of Morning Juice. Just sign up at FanDuel.com/juice. The Fan, Ohio sports destination.
What's the going rate for a good babysitter? Also, Shark needs a raise. You're listening to Morning Juice.
Morning Juice. Tito, Ryan Baker with you here on this beautiful Monday. So Ohio State has landed yesterday. I think it was this weekend they traveled out there.
Yeah, they left yesterday in the morning to head out to Pasadena.
Which is different than what they did when they went to Oregon. They went to Oregon like day before the game. Yeah. And they said, we're going to stay on our same schedule and all that still because, but they went out there earlier this time. I'm not saying that cost them the game. Anyway, I'm not saying that at all. I think it's smarter to go out earlier, though.
Well, I'm pretty sure they have to because of Rose Bowl obligations and media obligations out there and all of that stuff, so...
Will Howard talked about how the first Oregon game has haunted him.
Man, I still have nightmares about that play. I still run it over in my head. What could I have done better? And I get a chance to, go out there and right the wrong from that game. And you don't get second chances a lot in life. It just doesn't happen. So, like I said, I'm thankful that we even get a chance to go out there and play these guys again.
So I feel like Ohio State in this game, from offensively, I thought the game plan was okay against Oregon. I mean, I thought it was serviceable. Hell, they put 31 points on the board on the road. That last play, I know he went down with 1 second left. There should have been time to call timeout and all that. Didn't happen. Get it. The Jeremiah Smith pass interference call shouldn't have happened as well. But, Bakes, I feel like the offensive game plan was solid against Oregon in the first time around.
Yeah, I mean, you mentioned it. They scored 31 points. They racked up almost 500 yards of offense. I don't think that they lost that game because of the offense. Now, they did benefit, in my opinion, from a called completion on the very first drive that led to their touchdown that was actually an Oregon interception.
Sure.
I believe. But the offense was not what cost them the game against Oregon like it did against Michigan. It was the defense, and the defense has been a lot better. I mean, some of those stats, they haven't allowed a passing touchdown since the Oregon
I think they've allowed 2. Haven't they 2 passing touchdowns? Is that right?
Not since the Oregon
not 0.
game.
Okay.
So they had 2 heading into Oregon. They gave up 2. They've given up 4 on the year. I mean, the defense has been pretty daggone good ever since then, and it's been more aggressive and whatnot. Yeah, offense wasn't the problem, and I'll tell you what, Tito, if we get an offense that is called like it was called last week against Tennessee, that was innovative and got the ball into the playmakers' hands out in space, I don't think offense will be the problem in this game either.
Yeah, I think you're right about that. I think the key on this game, and I trust in Jim Knowles, so I believe the key in this game is if they can get pressure on Dillon Gabriel, because they got none on him last time. He had a very clean game. If they can get pressure on Dillon Gabriel, and I know they've played once before. I get it. They played once already this year, but I feel like this will be a completely different game. You can say, okay, there's some tendencies or there are some things they do, but this is going to be a much different game. It's in a neutral site. Ohio State fans will travel well out there, I have to believe. And I think that Knowles is genius enough to scheme something up to where they will be able to get pressure on Dillon Gabriel.
I sure hope so. There's a couple things that worry me, though, Tito. One, in that first game, I thought the Oregon offensive line, particularly the interior of their offensive line, was fantastic. They were blowing Ohio State off the ball 3 and 4 yards every time. The other thing that worries me is Ohio State hasn't played receivers like these Oregon receivers since then. It's easy to bring the house and bring pressure and bring extra guys when you're playing receivers that you know your guys can lock up man-on-man, one-on-one.
Sure.
Will they still be aggressive against Oregon and bring pressure like they have been with a true threat of maybe we might get beat?
Yes, Oregon's receivers, they got a 6'5" guy and like a 5'10" guy. They're totally different, but both very solid receivers. You're right. That part is that duality of receivers. Ohio State has not faced anything like that this year. Oregon, while undefeated, give them all I'll say roses. I don't want to say give them the roses because we're talking about the Rose Bowl. Give them their props for what they've done. But they damn near lost at Wisconsin. And Wisconsin's not a great team this year. They very easily could have lost to Wisconsin. They let Penn State back into the game of the Big Ten championship game. And now they've got this a lot of time off. I mean, they haven't played since, it's December 7th, right? It's the last time they played. So it's like damn near a month off when they get on the field with Ohio State. And there's always that debate about rest versus rust.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know which way it'll be on this one, but if Ohio State plays like they did against Tennessee, I don't see Oregon having a chance in this game.
You're not wrong, but Oregon's also a different beast than Tennessee.
They are, no doubt about it.
And Ohio State was aggressive, both sides of the ball. I think Ohio State was aggressive, and I think that, and I hope that they have that same kind of idea and plan against Oregon. But it's easier to do that against the teams that Ohio State has played since Oregon than in Oregon.
That's fair. Chip Kelly talked about building on the momentum from Tennessee. Here's the Ohio State offensive coordinator.
You do hope it continues, and I think our players are in a good mindset right now. You know, I think we're still, I know today, I think you said, Jerry, is Saturday, right, Jerry?
Yes,
it's Wednesday in our world, so that's kind of how we approach it. So, you know, we had a good Monday and a good Tuesday, so now it's really just having a good Wednesday and concentrating fully on what we can do today to get better for this game that's coming up in a couple days.
It's amazing how much this game means to, and it's not just this game, but it's this game and then the next game and hopefully the next game. Like all those things means to like the legacies of, even though it's first year here, Chip Kelly, Will Howard, how much it means for the way they'll be remembered. And Chip Kelly will be here beyond this year. That I'm not talking about, he's got a chance to make up for it. This is Will Howard's shot, though.
Yeah, he's gone after this. And listen, Will and this team and this coaching staff, they've all told us, hey, judge us this year against Oregon and against Michigan.
Right.
Well, the first two tries, unfortunately, you came up short.
No, but starting now, judge them.
Get another try
Right.
here against this team. And this is what I've said, Tito, kind of about this defense the whole time. There's some staggering stats about Jim Knowles' defense against Michigan and against top 5 teams.
Right.
And it's like almost 500 yards and 40-some points a game. In the Michigan game, the Georgia game, the Oregon, the last two Michigan games before this past one, the Oregon game and the Georgia game, and just how bad it was. And this defense, they were great against Michigan.
Mm-hmm.
They were not against Oregon. So they're graded here on this. We can see if this defense is truly fixed and if it's ready to go in these games, in this game coming up here on New Year's Day.
I mean, Tennessee was a formidable opponent. It's just Ohio State dominated them. And so, I mean, there were a lot of people that thought that Tennessee could be the one to spring the upset in the opening round of the CFP. So, but I think Jim Knowles, when I look at what Jim Knowles does, in-game adjustments. Now, doesn't always, but most of the time, but way majority of the time, if you look at the stats of Ohio State's opponents in the second half versus the first half, Knowles does a damn good job bottling things up and making changes.
With the third quarter this year, they've given up, one touchdown all season long?
Ridiculous,
the numbers are staggering.
Yeah.
Even in the first Oregon game, Oregon did not score in that third quarter. So Ohio State, on the defensive side of the ball, at least, they have come out of halftime and made, like you said, the proper adjustments, the right adjustments all season long.
All right, coming up next, we'll hear more sound from Chip Kelly and also Will Howard later on in the show. But coming up next, in 2 minutes, we'll check in with Bill Bennett for the Sporting News. We'll do that next. Morning Juice on The Fan.
Fan traffic.
From the Atlas Butler Plumbing Services Traffic Center.
Texting enrolls you into reoccurring automated text messages. Consent not required to purchase. Message and data rates may apply.
Hey, Dan, how you doing? Haven't seen you around the gym for a while.
Yeah, I've really fallen off. Since I turned 40, I just don't get the results I used to get.
Could be lower testosterone.
Lower T?
Yeah, I went through it a while back. Once you hit 40, your body has less free testosterone. I got Nugenix Total T, and it's made a huge difference for me.
I've seen that ad on TV. Is it for real?
Oh, yeah. The key ingredient is something called Tesnor, which helps boost free and total testosterone levels to help you trim up and stay lean.
And it's made a difference for you?
Man, I feel like I'm in my 20s again, at work, in the gym, and in the bedroom.
Are they still giving out complimentary bottles for people to try it for themselves?
Yeah, you just need to send them a text.
Text BIKE to 321-321 right now for your complimentary bottle of Nugenix Total T, the #1 selling testosterone booster at GNC. Plus, text now and we'll include a bottle of Nugenix Thermo, our most powerful fat incinerator ever, to help you get back into shape fast. Absolutely free. Text BIKE to 321-321. That's BIKE to 321-321.
At NJM Insurance, we like to think of ourselves as a symphony. We start with a foundation of doing the right thing. Then we layer in dedicated reps whose priority is you. Add in excellent discount programs. And last, but certainly not least, we put our policyholders first. And the reason we don't use jingles or mascots is because it's just not us. No jingles or mascots, just great insurance. NJM. Insurance underwritten by NJM Insurance Company and its subsidiaries.
The only show where sports talk is eclipsed by food talk.
Oh, yeah.
Common Man and T-Bone.
Weekdays from 3 to 6.
The Fan. In high school, Bobby was a district swimming finalist. Also, Beamer still wears floaties. This is Morning Juice.
It is Morning Juice. I'm Tito. Ryan Baker back there running things for us. Also co-hosting, by the way. He is good to go now. So we will bring on Bill Bender from the Bryant Heating Cooling System Fan Guest Hotline. Sporting News, Bill Bender joins us. Bill, I'm curious to get your thoughts on this because I know that Cam Ward played the first half of Miami's bowl game, sat out the second half, and ended up losing. It sounds like it was pre-planned on this one, but what are your thoughts on Cam Ward doing that?
They need to let us know beforehand. So you can't, if you're going to do that, fine. Put yourself up to criticism because you went out on the field. There are still a lot of old school college football fans. I believe that he deserves to be criticized for it. I don't think it's going to affect his NFL future at all. I don't think he's not going to be drafted by a team because of that, but I just don't like the look of it. The optics are bad. It looks like he was going to go for a record. He didn't, and then he sits out afterward. And again, you can't say he's affecting his future and money and those kind of things because they're making money now. That argument goes out the window a little bit, in my opinion.
Bill, you talk about the Cam Ward situation, and I didn't like that either. Just it looks bad with playing for the half, chasing a record, and then you're out of the game. On the flip side, though, I have been someone who's been against everything Colorado because I feels like that's all new school and the changing of the guard in college football, which is coming whether I like it or not. But Shedeur Sanders and Travis Hunter did play in the game, and I thought that was good on them. What were your feelings on those two playing and maybe risking possible future earnings?
I hope it sets a trend for bowl games in the future that these guys play. But, again, I'm not one of those bulls are meaningless guys. They mean something different to everybody. I think they're fun. I was talking to Bobby about that over the weekend where, if you don't think it's fun to have Pop-Tart sprinkles on the sideline or the fake punts or, I saw a Pitt-Toledo game that was really long and they tried to win it by throwing the ball to a defensive tackle. And when you say it doesn't mean something to anybody, what about Army, Navy? What about Sam Houston winning their first bowl in school history? We do use it to criticize conferences. I mean, the ACC is 1-9 in bowl games, and I've seen that out there a lot. Well, is that a meaningless stat? I don't think it is. I think when you see that all add up, we use it to measure conference strength in some ways, whether that's fair or not.
So, Bill Benner joining us here, by the way, in the Brian Heating and Cooling System for a guest hotline. My God, what's wrong with me? I had a stroke right there. Bill, so I read this on The Athletic, and I see that tradition's out the window in college football. Like, we don't do traditional stuff anymore for the most part. How do you feel about getting rid of all these conference tie-ins for bowls and then maybe take the next, say, after your top 12 that are going to the CFP, the remaining top 25 or whatever, the other 13 teams, are somehow pair them up in bowl games as opposed to saying this team from this conference has to play this team from this conference?
Well, I mean, when I was growing up, there was only 20 to 24 bowl games anyway.
Right.
And that exclusivity made them better. We still talk about, holiday bowl matchups with Ohio State. And, when they didn't have as many out there and there was less to watch, it was probably better. I say that, though, as an Ohio alum, as you guys know, it was a big deal when I was in college when the MAC got their second bowl bid. A second team would get a bowl bid. And so I don't mind it for the group of five schools. I like watching Ohio play in bowl games. It's a fun tradition every year. They won another one. By the way, they've won 6 in a row. So I think just throwing that in there.
Humble brag.
I would hate for Minnesota to lose and Ohio have the longest bowl win streak in the country. But they're fun to me. But I could see us cutting like 10 off. That's not a bad idea. And I've talked to you about this before. The playoffs, we need to seed this properly. I mean, Ohio State, Oregon, Georgia, Notre Dame, I don't know that those are the two best games we got coming in a few days, but it's because they didn't seed these properly. Those guys, they shouldn't be playing those games in the second round. Those should be semifinals.
You mentioned the college football playoff games. Vegas told us the first round wouldn't be that great, and they were right. For the most part, the 4 first-round games were pretty much blowouts, and all 4 of them this week in this round, they're telling us that 2 of them are going to be pretty good, and 2 of them are not going to be that good. Do you think Vegas has it right again?
Yes, mostly. And with the potential that I think Boise State, Penn State could be close. Could be if Boise State can run the football a little bit, if their defense can get off the field. I know that's a high spread, but can they have that Cinderella appeal around Ashton Genty, make Drew Aller uncomfortable? I mean, Penn State looked really good in the first round, though, against SMU. So I think there's a potential for Boise State to keep that under double digits. Arizona State quarterback Sam Levitt is feeling pretty comfortable going into that matchup, and that team was really hot at the end of the regular season. I don't know if they can do it for 4 quarters against Texas, though. So I think that one has the potential to be a blowout. The other two are going to be – the other two we're all waiting for, right? Those are going to be unbelievable. That's why they saved those two for the last.
So, Bill, when it comes to Ohio State against Oregon, and Baker and I had a discussion in the last segment, curious to get your thoughts, though. What does Ohio State have to do differently this time around to beat Oregon?
Pass rush. They have to land. They didn't get a sack first game. And Oregon was the only team that was able to throw the ball down the field on them all year, in my opinion. I would have to go back and look at a couple games, but they were able to do it successfully. They were aggressive. They targeted. They got the ball to Evan Stewart. They have Tez Johnson. They have Trayshawn Holden. They have really good receivers, and they're going to take shots because Dan Lanning is aggressive. So that pass rush on second and third down, time. They have to hit Dylan Gabriel. They have to get him off his spot. They have to force a couple mistakes. And then on the other end, we all know they could have won that game very easily. They just got to get the ball to Jeremiah Smith. That seemed to work against Tennessee very effectively and run the ball a little better. And they have their offensive line figured out. I think that was my biggest takeaway from Tennessee. The Ohio State's offensive line, which has had those injuries, played awesome.
So I was saying about the offensive line now, going to the other side of the ball, still staying in the trenches, though. Are you confident Ohio State's found the right mix in the offensive line?
Well, it's going to have to be. I mean, nobody plans for losing 2 starters to season-ending injuries. And I think, as Ryan Day said after the Tennessee game, they had some time to figure it out. After Seth got hurt before Indiana, it was a huge injury because you only had, I think, 10 days before the Michigan game.
Right.
So you had 3 weeks to shuffle around instead of having guys, they had time to gel. And for us, at Sporting News, we picked Donovan Jackson as an All-American. And some people would say, why? I mean, he was a guy that was playing at an All-American level at his position and selfishly switched positions. And he settled in at that position. And, oh, by the way, he's an awesome kid, too.
Okay, give me your 4 winners this week then in the CFP.
I mean, the Oregon-Ohio State winner, I think, is going to win the national title. I still think Oregon easily could win that game. Coin flip, tough to pick that one. But Ohio State absolutely could beat them there, though, with the momentum. I mean, I'm going to need to see the first quarter for sure. I think Georgia's going to beat Notre Dame. That's not a popular pick. Gunnar Stockton, the SEC championship game. And I need to see if Notre Dame can make a couple pass plays against them. I don't blame you for picking Notre Dame in that game. And then the other two, I think Texas and Penn State. But again, for all the complaints about the first round, I have the 5 teams, in my opinion, that could win the national championship playing this weekend. And there's nothing wrong with that.
Bill Bennett from the Sporting News joins us. Get you out here on this one. Any specific New Year's Eve, New Year's Day traditions in the Bender household?
Well, I'm normally working on New Year's Eve, so I don't know what traditions we have. Our tradition this week was, this weekend we were at both of my kids' basketball tournaments. My son's team could potentially play 11 o'clock tonight because they did a Midnight Madness tournament, but it was a lot of fun, So for us, not really. My wife works a lot too, but we're going to enjoy that Boise State-Penn State game today. I do think that is the best one to put on New Year's Eve. So if you're out partying, you can at least keep that one on in the background. And I don't know, will people be cheering for Boise State around here or Penn State? I think they'd probably be rooting for Boise State if they can hang in there a little bit.
Wait, you're not that old. How old's your son that's playing at 11 o'clock at night?
No, their 8th grade team had the diocese has ever in Grove City. They have a Midnight Madness tournament. So Before you say, what are you guys doing? Why are you playing that late? The parents, the kids, the players, a lot of good players in the Columbus Diocese, too. We're having a lot of fun over there, even though we have some late tip-off times.
All right. That sounds like fun. 11 o'clock when there's no school going on, I get it. I'm just saying it couldn't have been like an 8-year-old game. That's all.
No. If he was 8, we would definitely have him in bed, okay?
I got you. That's good, Bill. Everyone listening in Children's Services, okay? Bill Bender said if it was an 8-year-old, he'd be in bed. Bill, we appreciate the time, buddy. Enjoy the holiday, and we'll talk again next week.
Rob, thank you.
You bet. That was Bill Bennett, Sporting News. I love talking to that guy. He's great. He joins us every Monday here on Morning Juice on the Bryant Heating and Cooling Systems fan guest hotline. Said at that time without stuttering or screwing up the words there, Bakes. Coming up next, a player is chasing history, but will he go all out to achieve it? That's next in Quick Hitters. Morning Juice on the Fan.
Fan traffic.
From the Atlas Butler Plumbing Services Traffic Center.
Good morning. Things are pretty quiet for the Monday morning drive. Looks like still some extra people taking a little extra time off around the holidays. Right now, if you're traveling on the east side, volumes are on the lighter side of light to moderate on I-270 at 670. No problems here as traffic is building this morning. On the north side, you look pretty good as well. 270 at 23, and maybe a little more moderate on the light to moderate side in this area. I'm Heather Pasco for 97.1, The Fan Traffic.
At NJM Insurance, we're like a symphony. It all starts by doing the right thing. Add in dedicated reps and put policyholders first. But no jingles or mascots because it's just not us. Insurance underwritten by NJM Insurance Company and its subsidiaries.
I'm Rick Reichert, and Reichert Ford is cranking things up for the year-end spectacular. And we're dealing. It's our biggest sale of the year. Lease a new 2024 hybrid F-150 for just $499 a month for 36 months, zero down. Lease a new 2024 Bronco Sport for just $399 a month for 36 months, also zero down. We're stacking them deep and selling them cheap. No other dealer in Columbus, in Ohio, or the entire United States is dealing like this, period. One of the largest Ford inventories in America, and it's all on sale. Get to the year-end spectacular. The grand finale of 2024 ends Thursday, January 2nd, only at Reichert Ford, the largest volume Ford dealer in Ohio, at Route 33 and Hamilton Road, 2 minutes off 270, and at ReichertFord.com. Based on 2023 Ford report for total new retail sales. Cincinnati region offers end January 2nd on approved credit. No security deposit required. Come in now, because we're dealing.
Get the right car at Reichert.
We're dealing.
Your furnace could be costing you in repairs and high utility bills. Replace it with Logan AC and Heat Services. Enjoy 0% APR financing for 72 months. It's hard to stop a train. Schedule now. Logan Services.
Common Man and T-Bone here for Hollywood Casino Columbus. Hey, Bone, did you know the sportsbook is now called ESPN Bet?
I did, and you can watch your favorite teams on the biggest screens, place your bets, and grab some wings with an ice-cold pint.
Maybe you're too boring and don't want to go to the casino. Good news. You can keep the action going and place your bets on the go with the ESPN Bet app.
The ESPN Bet Sportsbook is your 50-yard line ticket to odds, point spreads, and over-unders.
It's the place to be. Losers must be 21 or older. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-589-9966.
Hey friends, Beamer here. You know what sold me on Awaken 180 weight loss? Losing 12 pounds in my first week. I mean, wouldn't you be all in after that? But you know what's really got me completely hooked? I'm now down 19 pounds in just 2 weeks. 19 pounds. Look, when I started the program, I knew that I needed fast results to stick with any program I was going to do. And I thought, hey, if I can lose 5 or 10 pounds in 2 weeks, that's going to be a win. Well, I blew that out of the water, all thanks to Awaken 180. I'm not the only one who did it. Our good friend Austin Ward, he dropped 17 pounds in his first 2 weeks, 50 pounds overall. The results we're having, they are real, and we did it without meds. We did it by eating to lose weight with the coaching to ensure we lose weight every week. More importantly, to ensure that we enjoy the process. I, for one, certainly am. I mean, who wouldn't want someone else to do the work? They plan out the food you like, work around your schedule, and you, well, you lose weight. Simple as that. I dropped 19 pounds in 2 weeks. It's that easy. Do what we all did. Start your year out with a solution for weight loss. All at awaken180weightloss.com.
Did you know we have another station? More Buckeyes, more play-by-play, more everything.
Set your second preset to AM 1460 or 97.1 FM HD2 or listen on the Fan app.
Your home for almost too much football. The Fan.
Do you have 3 ex-wives and your current trophy wife wants a life insurance policy 3 times the size of the policies you had to purchase for your previous mistakes? If so, you need to call Big Lou at Term Provider, 800-777-1225. Big Lou is intimately familiar with your problems, and if you're 50 or 60 years old and in reasonably good health, a $1 million policy should only cost about $100 to $200 per month. Big Lou may have a solution for your previous policies as well. you may even save enough money to lighten the load on your new $1 million policy. Remember, call Big Lou. He's like you, except he's only on number 2. Call Term Provider at 800-777-1225. That's 800-777-1225 for $1 million in term life insurance that you can live with. Call Big Lou at 800-777-1225. 800-777-1225.
All your favorite fan shows are available when you want them.
Head to 971thefan.com and hit that subscribe button.
The Fan, Ohio sports destination. One of these guys thinks Clintonville was named after Bill Clinton. You're listening to Morning Juice.
Morning Juice. Tito and Baker with you. Thank you to Bill Bennett for joining us in that last segment. Love talking to that guy. Very knowledgeable. Let's do some quick hitters.
Morning Juice presents Quick Hitters.
All right, Tito, we had a nice milestone in the NFL yesterday in the Eagles' big 41-7 win. Saquon Barkley rushes for 167 yards. He becomes the 9th player ever to have more than 2,000 yards on the season, as he sits at 2,005 right now, just 100 yards away from tying Eric Dickerson's all-time single-season rushing record, of course, 101 away from breaking that. Now, the Eagles, they have already locked up the NFC East, and they are going to be the number 2 seed in the NFC playoffs. So this is starting the debate of whether Saquon should play to break the record or should he rest to get ready for the playoffs. Here is Saquon after the game yesterday talking about that.
The way I look at it, if it's in God's plan, then it is. If I'm not, overly trying to go get it. I'm not scared of it. Like I would love to, but at the end of the day, also we got bigger things that we're focusing on, and we're able to clinch the division right here. And whether it's we play next week or not and rest, I'm fine with that too, because I didn't come here and sign here just to, rush for 2,000 or break a record. I want to do something special, and meaning special with the team.
So, Tito, he's saying all the right things, but I would have to think, as much as Eric Dickerson doesn't want him to break the record,
right,
Saquon wants that record.
Yeah, I got to believe he does. Now, if they had locked in the number 1 seed, I'd feel differently. If he needed 30 yards to break the record, I'd feel differently. 100 yards, and I know Saquon's really good. I know that. But it's not a lock. You're going to get a 100. Like 100 yards is not every game in the NFL. You don't get 100 yards. I know he's had a great year this year. But still, you're not guaranteed to get that. And so it's still good. It would require him to play quite a bit of the game. Wow. I know they've got an easier opponent coming up this week, obviously, when they're hosting New York. I think that if I were the Eagles, I would sit him. I think because the numbers, I know we got Dickerson's got the record. That's fine. But it's not as important in the NFL. The numbers, the records are not as important as Super Bowl wins, especially for marquee players.
They are not, but this is a pretty big one. The all-time single-season rushing record, and they're playing the Giants, his former team that didn't want him anymore. And you say he may have to play a lot of the game, but in that last game against the Giants earlier this year, 17 carries, 176 yards for Saquon. He was averaging over 10 yards a carry in this game. I just have a feeling that with the record on the line and the extra motivation of playing his former team,
right,
that Saquon and the Eagles are going to want to get him this, and he's going to go out there and he's going to play.
Will you feel like he's got the record? Because Garen said on the chat, too, and I agree with this. The number of games have changed. Dickerson in a 16-game season, Barkley in a 17-game.
Yeah, and I understand that, and people will say OJ did it in a 14-game season.
Jim Brown may have had the highest rushing yards per game for a season.
For the 2,000-yard part of it, he did it in 16
Absolutely,
games.
which is great,
So,
yes.
Yeah, I mean, it's the whole argument of all of that, right? With new games, more passing. Like, to me, this is rushing the football. This is actually harder nowadays because we don't run the football as much in football nowadays. Like, when passing records get broken, Tito, big deal because they didn't used to pass. They used to run out of a wing T and a triple option all the time. And so when these passing records go down, I don't really think of it. But we're seeing a reverse course here in the running game becoming more of a thing. And I don't know if I would diminish this that much.
If I'm Sirianni, I'd sit down with Barkley, say, do you want the record? And if Barkley says, yeah, I want to go for it, then if I'm Sirianni, I say, okay, here's the deal. We're going to feed you the ball a ton in the first half. You're not playing the second half. You might get 20 carries in the first half. We're going to keep feeding you. But if you don't get it by halftime, we're going to shut it down.
I will, and they may very well do that. I would say this. I would give Saquon this award faster than I would Cam Ward, the all-time touchdown.
Yeah.
Award
true.
in college for what he did in these COVID years and switching teams and all of this. It's just, to me, I think this would be more impressive, quite frankly.
Yep, I'm with you. Go ahead.
So, Colorado. I got to tell you, Tito, I think you're a Colorado guy and a Dion guy, and I am not at all. But it's pretty impressive what they've done, going from 1 win to a 9-win team this year. They get blown out, though, by BYU in the Alamo Bowl. They lose 36-14. Some people are saying this is not a successful season now for Dion because of this. I don't know your feelings on that, but...
So we've got the Indiana kind of dilemma here because Colorado's schedule this year was not good. Not their fault. It's the way it plays out, that they didn't have to play Arizona State this year. They didn't have to play BYU until this game. They did not play Iowa State. Those are the top 3 teams in the Big 12. Their losses were at Nebraska, and we know Nebraska's mediocre. Their one ranked opponent they played in the regular season, Kansas State, lost to them. Lost at Kansas by 16 points, and then got blown out by BYU. I would say it was a successful season for Colorado, but I'm not ready to say, like, it was an elite season by any stretch of the imagination. I think it was a successful season based on where they've been, where they were at just a couple years ago. So the trajectory of this program is going in the right direction. I do say this, it would not surprise me if Dion's done at Colorado.
No, and it would also, you mentioned the trajectory, and I know they've got the quarterback Julian Lewis coming in and whatnot, but you're losing Shador and Travis, and that's been a big part of this team. As much as it pains me to say this, though, I was wrong on this. This has kind of worked, and you mentioned they didn't have the toughest schedule in the Big 12. They didn't play a lot of teams, but going from 1 win 2 years ago to 9-4 this year, and all the publicity that Dion has given Colorado football. I mean, they haven't been talked about like this since Rashaan Salam won the Heisman, I don't think, back in the early 90s. So I think it's hard to say this isn't a success based on what they've done and the turnaround they've had.
And the fact they were in contention for the Big 12 title game in a CFP spot with just a couple weeks left to go to the regular season before that loss to Kansas. They could have, if they beat Kansas in that game, they could have played in the Big 12 championship game. Who knows what happens then?
A former Buckeye in the NBA is on the move. The Los Angeles Lakers made a trade with the Brooklyn Nets yesterday, trading D'Angelo Russell and Maxwell Lewis plus 3 second-round picks to the Brooklyn Nets for Dorian Finney-Smith and Shake Milton. Does this make the Lakers a contender?
It makes them more of a contender, but no, I still don't think they're a contender. Now, the nice part about this for the Lakers is they held on to their first-round picks.
Good morning. Heading out the...
Sorry about that.
That's okay. They had they maintained their first-round picks, and they get $3.5 million they save as far as, like, the cap hits, and so they have the opportunity now to make another trade if they want to with these first-round picks and try to add to the team. I think they're a better team than they were before the trade. They are more of a contender, but no, they're not a contender.
I think sometimes D'Angelo and LeBron with another point guard on the court was kind of redundant because you had a bunch of guys that need the ball in their hands. This is a trade that might balance this team out a little bit. Dorian Finney-Smith and Shake Milton, both wings, kind of 3-and-D type guys, which those we know have always played well with LeBron. The big thing here for the Lakers is, are LeBron and Anthony Davis going to be healthy when the playoffs come around? Because if those two are healthy, I think they are a contender. I mean, they got that puncher's chance. But if those two aren't healthy and ready to go, the Lakers are in trouble.
I agree, yes. And I think the Lakers aren't done making moves yet. They need to make another move still if they want to elevate themselves into that contender. I don't think this makes them better. It does make them better. But still, so much of their season is going to depend on the health of LeBron and the health of Anthony Davis. If those guys are both healthy, they are a dangerous team. Finney-Smith does certainly add another aspect. He's a guy who can guard any position on the floor, and he's shooting very well from deep. D'Angelo Russell felt like a clunky fit just as much as Russell Westbrook felt like a clunky fit for the Lakers back when he was with the team. All right, coming up next, Butch with Re-Rack. Ohio State's men got a big win over Indiana State. The women win as well. We'll do that next. This is Morning Juice on the Fan.
Fan traffic.
From the Atlas Butler Plumbing Services Traffic Center.
Good morning. Heading out the door, you're going to find pretty quiet conditions on the main roads and freeways. Keep in mind that your 3rd Street ramp to I-70 eastbound is blocked as they rework some of the interchange there, so you'll need some time to use some caution and follow an alternate route. Now, on the west side, traffic doesn't look too bad so far this morning. I-70 at 270, traffic is still on the lighter side and just beginning to build. 70 at Broad. I'm still seeing pretty clear and quiet conditions. I'm Heather Pasco for 97.1, The Fan Traffic.
Enjoy rates as low as 9.90% APR with a Visa Platinum credit card from BMI FCU. The perfect low-rate card for your wallet. Apply today at bmifcu.org/visa.
Make your New Year's Eve celebration and football watch party a good deal better with Meijer. Fresh guac is always a hit. Mix up a batch with extra large fresh avocados. Now buy one, get one free. And Meijer tortilla chips are a perfect match. Assorted Meijer chips are 3 for $6 when you buy 3 or more. And Coca-Cola and Pepsi 12 packs are buy 2, get 1 free. Plus deposit where applicable. Bring more good to your holiday celebrations at Meijer. Exclusions apply. See the Meijer app for details.
Football is all about scoring big, and so is Hinderer Motor Company. This is Justin Hinderer. With 4 dealerships and a collision center, you're sure to find the perfect vehicle. Plus, every vehicle purchase comes with a lifetime powertrain warranty. Our Carvenience service picks up your car, gives you a rental, and returns it without you lifting a finger. Score big today. Experience the difference and visit HindererMotorCompany.com. We love what moves you.
You might not consider yourself a tech expert, but that doesn't mean you can't protect yourself from online scammers with a little help from McAfee Total Protection. Whether it's a fake missed delivery text or an urgent bank alert, these scams can look incredibly convincing. That's where McAfee Total Protection steps in. So go ahead, manage your finances and shop online. McAfee will help keep your device's privacy and identity safer. Visit McAfee.com/online protection today to get award-winning online protection for just $39.99 your first year. That's McAfee.com/online protection. Cancel anytime. Terms apply.
What's better than the sound of a Krispy Kreme truck delivering fresh donuts to McDonald's?
Enjoy a Krispy Kreme donut paired with an any-size hot or iced coffee for just $3. Offer valid 12/10 to 4/30/25 while supplies last. Price and participation may vary.
We're dealing at Reichert Ford. Hundreds of Fords in stock and priced to sell fast. With our lowest prices and 72-hour exchange policy, you can't buy the wrong car. Thousands of vehicles are waiting at ReichertFord.com.
Get the right car at Reichert.
We're dealing. Common Man and T-Bone here for Hollywood Casino Columbus. Hey, Bone, did you know the sportsbook is now called ESPN Bet? I did, and you can watch your favorite teams on the biggest screens, place your bets, and grab some wings with an ice-cold pint. Maybe you're too boring and don't want to go to the casino. Good news. You can keep the action going and place your bets on the go with the ESPN Bet app. The ESPN Bet Sportsbook is your 50-yard line ticket to odds, point spreads, and over-unders. It's the place to be. Losers must be 21 or older. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-589-9966.
We all hear the radio ads about the IRS. They tell you to be afraid, to be scared, and they try to frighten you into calling. I'm not here to do that. Tax Relief Advocates is different. TRA is here to tell you that if you owe money to the IRS, whether it's $5,000, $50,000, or $500,000, we have a solution. It doesn't matter if you're sitting in your car, at work, or with your kids. No matter where you are, call now. 800-575-6759. Don't lose hope. TRA can eliminate or reduce what you owe to the IRS. Generous programs are now available that can give you a fresh start. Our passion is taxes and helping individuals fix their IRS problems. We have over 1,000 5-star reviews on Google and an A+ with the Better Business Bureau. You don't need to be afraid of the IRS any longer. End your tax nightmare today by visiting us online at TRA.com or call 800-575-6759. That's 800-575-6759. Tax Relief Advocates. Real solutions for real people.
Broadcasting from the Lindsay Honda Studios.
Honda makes the cars. Lindsay makes the difference. Visit lindsayhonda.com.
WBNS-FM, HD1 Columbus. The Fan. Sports Center.
Good morning. I'm Ryan Baker. The Buckeye basketball team improves to 9-4 on the season with a 103-83 win over Indiana State. Bruce Thornton leads the way with his second straight 30-point effort, scoring 33. The Cincinnati Bengals kept their playoff hopes alive with a 30-24 overtime win over the Denver Broncos. The Bengals get huge games from quarterback Joe Burrow and wide receiver T. Higgins. The Cleveland Browns are now tied for the worst record in the NFL after losing to the Miami Dolphins 20-3. Both the Browns and Bengals will be in action this Saturday. Cleveland and Baltimore at 4:30, and Cincinnati heads to Pittsburgh at 8. This one's sponsored by Awaken 180 Weight Loss. Weight loss week 1, check. Weight loss every week until reaching your goal? Check, check. Real results, fast results, lasting results. Awaken180weightloss.com.
It's Reaction Monday, where our highly trained experts talk football.
Sponsored by the Roofing Guys.
Your home for reaction and overreaction, The Fan. If you make a wisecrack about Dayton pizza, Beamer will murder you dead.
Humor. I have it too.
This is Morning Juice.
Morning Juice. Tito and Baker with you. By the way, Justin Moore in the chat said we got to update the traffic. 315 South is a standstill beginning at Kinnear exit. That's according to Justin Moore.
Somebody tell Tyvis.
Somebody tell Tyvis, yes. All right, let's do a little re-rack.
Keeping you informed about what's trending this morning. It's time for a little re-rack on Morning Juice.
Sponsored by Billiards Plus, your destination for top-of-the-line grills with up to 30-year warranties. Billiards Plus on Dublin Center Drive in Dublin.
The Ohio State men's basketball team keeps on feeding Tim Hall and then also getting wins. They won over Indiana State yesterday, 103-83. Bruce Thornton scored 33, second straight game of 30-plus. They host Michigan State Friday at 8 o'clock. Bakes, look, this Ohio State team, they feel to me, after what I've seen lately, they can beat just about anybody, but they could also lose to just about anybody.
Yeah, and that's one of the things we were kind of worried about with this team, with the not really sure who was going to knock down the three ball.
Right.
That's been the nice thing the past couple games, Tito, is they've gotten 2 20-point victories, and they haven't shot the three real well. John Mobley Jr. has kind of cooled off the last couple of games. Bruce Thornton, though, has been really good.
Yeah.
They're just a different team with Aaron Bradshaw in the lineup.
Right.
It gives them more depth at that center position in the paint, and another guy that can get rebounds and block shots a little bit. I worry about a game like Michigan State because those two guys we're talking about there, Sean Stewart and Aaron Bradshaw, they're kind of slight, and Michigan State is usually pretty strong and tough on the inside. So I'm worried about Ohio State in this next game, maybe getting beat up a little bit on the inside, kind of like they did against Auburn in that game. Although you never want to lose, Tito, by 40 points to someone. But seeing Auburn rough up Purdue like they did after they beat Ohio State makes me feel a little less bad about that Auburn game. But this Ohio State team, even last night, no Michi Johnson. Micah Parrish goes down before the game, and it doesn't end up playing. But they don't seem to miss a beat. Now, I know Indiana State isn't Kentucky, obviously, but there's a lot of fun things to like about this Ohio State basketball team.
There is, and the lack of three-point shooting success does coincide with Bradshaw coming back. And they can get more. They've got more points in the paint. They've been able to score that way. And I'm with you on the thing about the fact they're a little bit slight. Yes, they could have trouble there, but I've said since the beginning, since before the season, I think Ohio State has the right guard mix to compete against anybody.
And who knew Quez Glover would be one of those guys? He's come back into the lineup, and he's been really good these last couple of games.
Yes, he has been really good. And so non-conference now over. We get into the heart of the Big Ten now. The Michigan State game, the Spartans ranked 18th in the country coming in this game on Friday, and they're hosting them here. It's an important game for me because, like I said, Ohio State, the wins against Kentucky, the win against Kentucky, the win earlier in the year against, against Texas, and then losses to A&M, big loss to Auburn, big loss to Maryland. I want to see them get a good win against a quality opponent, and that they have that opportunity this weekend coming up.
And listen, Tito, this was their last non-conference game, and we know the past couple of years when they hit conference play in January,
don't do it.
That's when things started going downhill. Hopefully that's not the case with this team, but you've got a couple big games coming up here with Michigan State, then you're at Minnesota, then you've got number 9 Oregon. Yeah. Oregon looks really good here. So maybe we'll get a taste of this here early on because the Big Ten's not the toughest conference this year, but they are getting some of the better teams here early on. I don't think we're going to see that slide like we have the past couple of years with Diebler. I just think he coaches these guys too competitively in the style that they have. But again, this is Diebler's first run at this, so we'll have to wait and see.
We're all scarred from what's happened in January the last couple of years. So if Ohio State,
brutal.
Yeah, if Ohio State gets a loss or if they fall behind in a game, it's gonna be like, oh my God, not again. Ohio State right now, according to Joe Lunardi, this came out Christmas Eve, but he had Ohio State as an 11 seed in the tournament. So still, I think Ohio State, I think they will be in the tournament this year, but God, they have to have a better January.
And I believe, the Ken Palm heading into last night's game had Ohio State as the 29th best team in the country. So
okay, yep, I agree. Yep, there we go. All right, Ohio State women improved to 13-0 overall, 2-0 in the Big Ten. They defeated Rutgers 77-63. They're off until they host Northwestern on January 5th. This Ohio State team with Kevin McGuff. I'm telling you, people, listen to me. Go out there and watch them play when you get a chance because they are so much fun to watch. McGuff's got this team rolling. They are deep, and they press the whole game. It's a wonderful thing to watch. Ohio State's very blessed to have Kevin McGuff as their head coach. This women's team, Final Four potential again.
I haven't paid attention to them too much since the first couple of games of the year, and that's a big shame on me because Kevin McGuff's teams do play a very fun, up-tempo, pressing style of basketball. It was kind of like, what are they going to be this year? Losing J.C. Sheldon. They lost Taylor Mikesell the year before. Cody McMahon is just so fun to watch. Jelani Cambridge came in here on fire, the freshman, and is it Chance Gray, right? Yep. Is that right? Chance Gray? She has been awesome coming in here as well. It seems like they haven't even missed a beat.
And I know I'm imploring you to get out there and watch them play, but in person, you will see how physical Cody McMahon, when I watched her play against Grand Valley State, I think is who it was, yes. I think she hit the floor 10 times. Going up for layups, getting knocked over.
She is, and this is a pretty crazy comparison, but she is like a female LeBron James in the fact that when she wants to get to the bucket, you're not stopping her.
I was going to say female Charles Barkley.
Okay,
you know, same kind of thing too.
She has that thick lower half.
She does, yes, and she does,
but
yes.
When she puts her head down and says, "I'm getting to the hoop," you're not stopping her.
Dolphins beat the Browns 20-3. Tyler Huntley against Dorian Thompson-Robinson. How much fun is that? Tyler Huntley was 22 of 26 for 225, but DTR not good. And the Browns, but luckily for the Browns now, the Giants won. So the Browns right now have the third pick in the draft. They could take either one of the quarterbacks out there or Travis Hunter, or will they botch it?
How awesome is this, Tito? Yesterday, Baker Mayfield's throwing 5 touchdown passes for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, keeping their playoff hopes alive. Joe Flacco's engineering a come-from-behind win for the Colts, keeping their playoff hopes alive. And Tyler Huntley, a guy who wasn't even good enough to make your team, who was with you all offseason, and you sent him packing, beats you and gets you tied for the worst record in the NFL.
Yes, that's true.
The Cleveland Browns being the Cleveland Browns.
The Colts ended up losing that game, right? Yeah, lost to the Giants 45-33. That's the one they lost. So Colts now eliminated. But yes, Flacco's out there playing. It's just there are a lot of quarterbacks better out there that the Browns got rid of than the ones they have currently on their roster. What else? Commanders beat the Falcons 30-24 in overtime last night. Tonight it's Detroit at San Francisco. And the Lions nothing that happens tonight will affect their seeding. Their game all matters next week in the Sunday night game to end the season when they play Minnesota at Detroit. The winner of that game will be the 1 seed in the NFC. The loser will be the 5 seed. So should Detroit rest starters this week, or should they limit starters this week because it won't affect their seeding at all, Bakes?
So they cannot be overtaken by Philadelphia. That's
right.
Correct.
They're 1 or they're 5. That's all there is to it, no matter what happens this week.
So even though if they lose tonight and win next week, they could have the same record as Philly, they will have the tiebreaker and they will be the number 1 seed.
They're either 1 or 5.
I can't see Dan Campbell doing that. Maybe next week if they had it locked up, which they won't
have it locked up. They can't, yeah.
So I don't know if you want to rest guys heading into a game that means that much next week, taking on the Vikings. I don't know how this is going to be. The crazy thing is, I think a lot of people circled this game at the beginning of the year as a game that could be for the number 1 seed, and it is for Detroit possibly. Well, I guess it isn't because it's all on next week.
Next week.
What a season. Like, who would have thought San Francisco would be eliminated and not in the playoffs?
Christian McCaffrey. That's the reason Brock Purdy can't win without Christian McCaffrey. I don't care. Just one bowl game today, Music City Bowl in Nashville. Iowa takes on Missouri. That's a 2:30 kick, I believe. Jackets off tonight. They host Carolina on New Year's Eve at NWA. In my notes, I put host Carolina on NYE at NWA. I thought that was clever. 8 o'clock. On New Year's Eve. You'll be out there for that one, won't you?
I probably will be there, yes.
All right, coming up next. Perfect lead into this. He's the play-by-play voice for your Columbus Blue Jackets. We will try to make sense of the road woes for the CBJ next. That's right here on Morning Juice on the Fan.
Fan traffic.
From the Atlas Butler Plumbing Services Traffic Center.
Taking a look at the roadways this morning, the Monday drive has a couple of slow spots this time around. An accident on State Route 315 southbound at King Avenue blocks your left lane, and that will have you on the brakes from Kinnear Road. Also on East Broad Street at Yearling, an accident is reported by police, so use caution in that area as well. I'm Heather Pasco for 97.1, The Fan Traffic.
Fan Traffic is sponsored by Prime Sports. Download the Prime Sports Ohio app today or visit primesportsbook.com and use promo code JUSTSPORTS for a welcome bonus of up to $100.
Hey, Ohio, Prime Sports has arrived. The only book where you can lay 108 instead of 110 on all your favorite teams. Football, baseball, basketball, hockey, you name it. Why would you risk more to win the same amount at another sports book? Download the Prime Sports Ohio app or visit our website, primesportsbook.com. Use promo code JUSTSPORTS. Get a welcome bonus up to $100. And be a member of the Prime Sports family.
Terms and conditions apply. Visit website for details. Must be 21 or older and present in Ohio. If you or anyone you know has a gambling problem and wants help, call 1-800-GAMBLER.
Why choose the Hinderer Motor Company? We don't just sell vehicles, we build relationships. This is Justin Hinderer. With 4 top-tier dealerships and a state-of-the-art collision center, we're here for you every step of the way. From our exclusive Carvenience service that handles everything from pickup to delivery, to our 24/7 towing and roadside assistance, we make your life easier. And every vehicle purchase comes with a lifetime powertrain warranty because we believe in what we sell. Experience the difference and visit HindererMotorCompany.com. We love what moves you.
For a limited time at Speedway, get 2 big pizza slices and your favorite Coca-Cola 20-ounce for only $5 with Speedy Rewards. Choose from classic 3-cheese, pepperoni, or extreme meat pizza. Save big with a $5 meal deal with Speedy Rewards. Only at Speedway. Valid through 1/7/25. See app for full terms.
Through the magic of modern technology, I'm coming to you from inside your garbage disposal.
Hey, what are you doing down here?
I was telling folks about Who are you?
Garbage disposal monster. I eat the things people put in here. Nom 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 nom.
Oh?
Sometimes I get sick.
I was just about to say, the pros who knows from Apex are brilliant at fixing garbage disposals. You're really a monster?
Look here. These teeth, they're all busted. They're for food, not forks. You hear up there?
Gee, what else?
Crazy noises like clingety, 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 clingety. Call Apex Pros.
Sure.
Sometimes I smell funny.
I didn't want to draw attention to it.
Call Apex Pros.
And what's going on now there?
Smoking. It's a bad habit. We're not supposed to smoke.
Well, you heard it straight from the garbage disposal monster. Call the pros who knows. Apex Pros.
Hi, it's Alex, the Apex Bear. We are the pros who knows, the official plumber of the Columbus Blue Jackets. ApexPros.com.
Nom 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 nom.
A system for every home and every budget at Logan AC and Heat Services. Get a free Trane furnace with the purchase of an air conditioner and tax credits up to $2,600. Schedule your free estimate now. Logan Services.
I'm Joanna Williams, General Manager at Tansky Sawmill Toyota, and Toyotathon is on at Tansky Sawmill Toyota, and we have specials that we haven't seen for years. Visit us on the corner of Sawmill and 161, or check out our website, TanskySawmillToyota.com, for all of our Toyotathon specials. And when you think Toyota, think Tansky.
Think Toyota. Think Tansky. Think Tansky.
What's the best way to make sure you don't miss any of your favorite fan shows? Oh no. Download the Fan app, silly.
Damn it, I knew that.
App Store, Google Play, or just scream right at your phone. Psst, you can also listen to Buckeye games. Do it now.
Hello, it's John Kozik, founder and president of TurboTrack Realty, and I buy houses as is fast for cash. Call me today for an all-cash offer on any of your properties, and we can close within days at 614-470-2000, 614-470-2000. Do you own a property that's outdated and needs thousands of dollars in repairs? Great, I'll buy it. Give us a call today for an all-cash offer at 614-470-2000, 614-470-2000. Would it be convenient for you if you could simply take what you wanted and leave the rest behind? Great, I'll buy it. I buy vacant properties, inherited homes, divorce situations, death in the family, apartment buildings, rental portfolios. I even buy my tenant won't pay me the rent houses. Call TurboTrack Realty today for an all-cash offer and speak with one of our friendly staff members at 614-470-2000, 614-470-2000.
Fan weather.
From the Logan AC and Heat Services Weather Center.
Waking up today, it is nice and cloudy out there. However, as we head into the afternoon, we will see some sunshine later on today. Today's high will be around 50. Tuesday's high will be around 53, and then the temperatures crash late this week with daytime highs below freezing, nighttime lows only in the 20s. I'm meteorologist Dylan Robichaud with your 10 TV weather impact forecast on 97.1 The Fan.
FanDuel is the exclusive online sportsbook partner of Morning Juice. Just sign up at FanDuel.com/juice. The Fan, Ohio's sports destination.
Bobby is known as the General. Beamer is known as Beamer. This is Morning Juice.
Morning Juice on The Fan. We do this every Monday at this time. Let's talk some Jackets.
Morning Juice presents Talking Jackets.
Now it's Boone Jenner along the end boards, and he stuffs it behind Peter Mrazek for the score.
Sponsored by Care Heating and Cooling. When you need a company you can trust, call 1-800-COOLING.
All right, now we are joined by Bob McElligott, the play-by-play voice of your Columbus Blue Jackets. Bob, I'm curious. I'm looking at this Jackets season so far, and you look at their record. The Jackets are 11-4 at home with 3 overtime losses, 4-12 on the road with 3 overtime losses as well. I'm curious. With the Jackets, it's not. I know they're still a young team. They have some experience, so we can't really blame on inexperience why they have trouble on the road, can we?
No, I don't know what the deal, the problem is on the road. I mean, it's look at Saturday. I know Boston was going to be better than they were on Friday, but it was the same team. It was the same team. It was the same travel for both teams, and yet, the one looked like they were very fresh, and the other one looked like it was not. And I don't know. I don't have an answer for you on that one. I don't know if they need to decorate every dressing room like it's the home dressing room or what they got to do, but psychologically, it's got to be a part of it. They just struggle on the road.
Bob, the team here, as we head towards the new year, right there, just outside the playoffs, fighting for one of those wild card spots, and a season where a lot of people didn't expect much from the Jackets. They knew it was still a young team. They thought there was going to be a lot of growing pains and that they just weren't good enough. After the last couple of years being at this time and there was no hope of a playoffs, you're already looking towards next season. How is the morale around the team this year compared to these past couple?
Oh, it's night and day, 100% different. I mean, you're right. The last couple of years were, well, let's just be honest, they were miserable. I mean, you were dead last in the league. You were dead last in the Eastern Conference in the last 2 years. Your season was over before Christmas came. It was brutal, absolutely brutal. So the morale is much better here, especially for the guys that are here that have lived through those 2 years, and there's a lot of them here. So the morale is good. They know where they are, but to go back to what Tito was talking about, they know they've got to win on the road. I mean, you look at the points that they are out by, and you look at that record, and you can find those points. There's two places you can find them. You can find them in the road record, and you can find them in the fact that in the second half of a back-to-back, they're 0-6. I mean, you know, if you go 3-3, you pick up 6 more points, and now we're talking about being in a playoff spot or being right there at the first of the year. So, you know, it's the morale is good. There's a lot of positivity, but they also know if you want to be a contender, if you really want to have a shot at pushing to get one of those spots, you got to get better in those two areas.
Bob McElligott joins us here on the Bryant Heating and Cooling Simpson Fan Guest Hotline. Tarasov got a start. Daniil Tarasov got a start, and it wasn't great. But did his performance when he was in net, did that tell us anything, change anything about the narrative going forward with the net?
It told me he should play more. I mean, you don't play since December the 5th, and then you get thrown into a game in a back-to-back right after Christmas. The first goal I didn't like at all. I mean, he looked nervous on the first one. He looked like a guy that was rusty. And, you know, after that, the ones that he gives up, well, they're breakaways. So, and one of those to David Pastrnak, who's one of the most lethal guys on a breakaway in the league. So his team didn't help him out at all. Didn't help him. But they got to figure this out with this guy and with this situation. I mean, you can't let a guy sit for 3 to 4 weeks. And they did. And he, you know, that first one, it's not that you lose the goal. Well, I guess you could say in this game you do lose it on the first goal because you didn't score at all. But it's 2 minutes and 29 seconds in. And you've got a guy that you're wondering about to begin with, and then he gives up that early goal. That's not a good recipe. So the goaltending situation has got to be figured out, and it's got to be figured out by schedule and who's going to play. There's no way you can let this guy sit for 3 and 4 weeks at a time before getting him back in the net.
Bob, there's been a lot of impressive individual performances on this team this year. Obviously, Zach Werenski, what he's doing is so impressive. Sean Monahan has been such a stabilizing force for this team in the middle of the ice. Dmitry Voronkov and Kent Johnson taking the next steps in their development. But to me, the most impressive thing has been Kirill Marchenko and how his game, not only offensively but defensively, has come into focus here. He's got 40 points in 37 games, and he's a plus 17 on the year. What's the biggest difference you see in Marchenko this year?
Well, I think if you go back to Marchenko a couple of years ago, remember when he had all those goals and no assists, and, you know, people were talking about him being the Cy Young winner because he was like 17-0, and I think he took that. Or I don't know if he actually took it the wrong way, but it seemed like last year he was looking to pass the puck off all the time instead of shooting the puck more. And that resulted in, I think, him missing out on a lot of goals. I think this year he's just had a really good mix of everything. I mean, he's distributing the puck when it needs to be passed. He sometimes still overpasses it, but everybody does. But he's getting it to other guys so they can get their goals. He's getting his goals. I just think overall he just seems to be much more comfortable, Ryan, in what he's doing, and like he has it a little bit more figured out, which he should at this point in his career in the National Hockey League now. You know, he's had success the first two, and now here you are in the third. You're supposed to be putting everything together, and I think he's doing just that.
Bob, based on what you've seen so far, I understand we're early in the season, midway point coming up here, I guess, but based on what you've seen so far, though, are you ready to say that the hiring of the head coach and the GM are a success?
Oh, 100%. I would have told you that a couple of days into the job, to be honest with you, just from the way that they approach things, the way they talk about things. There's no doubt in my mind. And I think that the biggest thing about it is the previous experience that each of those guys possessed coming into this job. You know, the fact that Don Waddell has been a general manager before and, 2 times in the league, and the fact that Dean Evison has been a head coach before. Look, the job is not complete for either one of these guys. Even if you were to make the playoffs this year as a wild card team, this is just the beginning of what they're going to do to transform this franchise. But I think they both came in with a good plan. I think the fact that, Don hired Dean when he didn't know him meant that he felt that their plans matched and that they are in sync. I think they absolutely are. You can see that by this point in the season, and it's an absolute hands-down success, Tito.
Bob, one more game this year, a tough one, New Year's Eve at home against Carolina, but then the schedule is pretty favorable here through the beginning of January. Detroit just fired their head coach. St. Louis has been playing better with Jim Montgomery, but they fired their head coach earlier in the year. Pittsburgh, Seattle, Philly, San Jose, the New York Rangers, they're a mess right now. How big and important is this stretch of hockey games coming up here for the Jackets?
Well, it's important, and I listened to your breakdown, and I know what you're saying, Ryan, but, I've seen the Blue Jackets win games this year against some of the top teams in the league and then fall to teams that I don't think they should lose to, like Anaheim. So, it's a parity league, and that's the way they want it, and they want teams to have a chance to, have different teams to win it all the time, and that's fine. But, look, they beat Carolina at home earlier this year, albeit they took it to a shootout and gave up a point to them, but you just never know. I don't know with this team. I think this team's going to be jazzed up tomorrow night, New Year's Eve, playing at home. We talked about their home record to begin with. They completely embarrassed Boston. To beat Boston is one thing, but just to pound them at home the other night, that's the way they play at Nationwide Arena. So I think they'll be up for that game. And, yeah, as you said, as you go down the road, Detroit may have fired their coach, but they have an experienced guy in Todd McClellan, and they're going to have a driven group to get back into it. At St. Louis, they're I never know what they're going to be like. I don't even look at their record. It's just a crapshoot with that team when they play against the Blue Jackets. Pittsburgh's back in it. It looks like it's easier, but nothing ever is really easy in this league. They're going to have a lot of home games coming up. That's the good news. They played a lot on the road already, so there's going to be a good home stretch here. That's what they have to do, is continue to play well at home and get those points against those kind of teams.
Appreciate the time as always, Bob. We'll talk again next week, and Happy New Year, my friend.
Happy New Year, boys. Appreciate it.
All right, that was Bob McElligott, CBJ play-by-play voice, joining us on the Bryant Heating and Cooling System Fan Guest Hotline. Coming up next, the Pro Football Hall of Fame has whittled down the candidates for the 2025. By the way, whittled, is that an old man word?
I don't know. I think I'm an old man with you because I never questioned it.
They've whittled down the candidates for the 2025 class. We'll dissect that next. This is Morning Juice on the Fan.
Fan traffic
from the Atlas Butler Plumbing Services Traffic Center.
Good morning. The Monday Drive has a couple of slow spots on State Route 315 southbound at King Avenue. There's an accident in the left lane, so that's why you're on the brakes from Kinnear Road. Also an accident on East Broad Street at Yearling will cause some slowdowns today. On the west side, 270 at Broad, traffic is still on the lighter side of light to moderate, and the roads are dry this morning. I'm Heather Pasco for 97.1, The Fan Traffic.
Texting enrolls you into recurring automated text messages. Consent not required to purchase. Message and data rates may apply.
Hey, Dan, how you doing? Haven't seen you around the gym for a while.
Yeah, I've really fallen off. Since I turned 40, I just don't get the results I used to get.
Could be lower testosterone.
Lower T?
Yeah, I went through it a while back. Once you hit 40, your body has less free testosterone. I got Nugenix Total T, and it's made a huge difference for me.
I've seen that ad on TV. Is it for real?
Oh, yeah. The key ingredient is something called Tesnor, which helps boost free and total testosterone levels to help you trim up and stay lean.
And it's made a difference for you?
Man, I feel like I'm in my 20s again, at work, in the gym, and in the bedroom.
Are they still giving out complimentary bottles for people to try it for themselves?
Yeah, you just need to send them a text.
Text BIKE to 321-321 right now for your complimentary bottle of Nugenix Total T, the #1 selling testosterone booster at GNC. Plus, text now and we'll include a bottle of Nugenix Thermo, our most powerful fat incinerator ever, to help you get back into shape fast. Absolutely free. Text BIKE to 321-321. That's BIKE to 321-321.
Football is all about winning, and so is the Hinderer Motor Company. This is Justin Hinderer. With 4 dealerships and a collision center, we've got everything you need to stay game day ready. Don't forget our Carvenience service, the most convenient way to service your vehicle. We pick it up, drop off a rental, and we bring it back to you when it's done. Plus, every vehicle comes with a lifetime powertrain warranty. Hinderer Motor Company, where convenience and confidence meet. Visit HindererMotorCompany.com. We love what moves you.
Question from a listener: do you dopes ever get tired of talking about Ohio State? No. The Buckeye Show.
Weeknights at 6.
The Fan. Counting down the days until Shark's retirement. You are listening to Morning Juice.
All right, Morning Juice on the Fan. Thank you to Bob McElligott for joining us there in the last segment on the Bryant Heating and Cooling System Fan Guest Hotline. Jackets to action New Year's Eve against Carolina. 8 o'clock face-off there. Every year they play New Year's Eve, don't they? Or almost?
Not every year, but it seems like a lot of years they do. And a lot of those years it has been at Nationwide. I think I remember one year they were out in Colorado for some reason, but it used to be almost every year they were at home at Nationwide. And then a couple years they didn't, and now I think the past few years they have been. A late start tomorrow night, too. Maybe because of the New Year's Eve festivities. They're starting at 8.
So they're trying to celebrate New Year's Eve at Nationwide Arena?
Well, they're supposedly having fireworks inside the arena.
Wow.
I don't know how that'll work.
Wow. So the Pro Football Hall of Fame announced they have 15 modern era finalists who advanced to the final stage of voting. One of the players on that list is Eli Manning. Eli Manning, a 2-time Super Bowl MVP. Among all quarterbacks who have started and won at least 2 Super Bowls, the only one that has not made it in is Jim Plunkett from the Raiders. And I think Plunkett should be in, by the way.
The only one that is eligible.
Right, yes, right. Yeah. The only eligible not made it is Jim Plunkett. I think Jim Plunkett should be in the Hall of Fame. That being said, I'm not convinced Eli Manning's a Hall of Famer. I think he'll get in. If he was Eli Plunkett, I don't think he would.
This one is so hard for me because he won 2 Super Bowls, and I feel like you can't write the history of the NFL without Eli Manning and the fact that he robbed Tom Brady of 2 Super Bowls, and the one year he robbed them of perfection.
Sure.
But never once during Eli Manning's career did I think he was the top quarterback in the league. Never once did I probably think he was a top 5 quarterback. And I'm it's the Hall of Fame, not the Hall of really good.
Mm-hmm.
And Eli was really good. He has a Hall of Fame bank account, that's for sure.
Yes, he does.
But I don't know. Like, he played in an era, and maybe this shouldn't be against him, but he played in an era with his brother and Tom Brady and Drew Brees and Ben Roethlisberger, Phillip Rivers, who never won one, but put up great numbers as well.
Yep.
I just don't. He was never a top 5 quarterback to me, and I don't know how that's Hall of Fame worthy.
Do you know what his record is as a starter in the regular season?
It's really close to 500, right?
It's exactly 500. 117 and 117. In the years they won the Super Bowl, that was great. But he had a lot of mediocre years in there, too. And he finished with 366 touchdowns, 244 interceptions, which is a lot in this era to have 244. Guys don't. He threw 27, 25. He threw 20. He led the league 3 times in interceptions thrown. 4-time Pro Bowler? Sorry, 4-time Pro Bowler.
But even that nowadays, you're the 5th or 6th option, and you're considered, like, what was it? Tyrone Huntley is a Pro Bowler.
Yeah, Tyler Huntley. Yeah,
Tyler Huntley.
Yeah, you're right. Yes, right. We got
Pro Bowler.
The Pro Bowlers. Yes, doesn't mean anything at all. Was never All Pro. He was ranked 6th, I think, in the AP Conference Player of the Year or something one time back in 2011. But yes, winning the Super Bowl is a big deal. But I still contend if his name was Eli Johnson, I think the fact he's Eli Manning, part of the Manning family, that helps his cause more than it should.
And I understand he won 2, Tito, but
right.
Joe Flacco and Trent Dilfer won Super Bowls, and I love Joe Flacco. Nobody's arguing for them to be in the Hall of Fame.
Well, and Plunkett's the other one, too. Like, Plunkett should get in, I think. If you're going to put Eli in, then Plunkett's got. I hate playing that game of if this guy's in, then this guy should be in. I hate doing that, but I'll do it here. Because I do think Plunkett should be in. And as far as his career accomplishments, put him right there with Eli Manning. Put him right there neck and neck. So there will be 3 to 5 modern era players announced the week of the Super Bowl. Luke Kuechly's on there, and so is Terrell Suggs. They both won Defensive Players of the Year awards. Antonio Gates on that as well. Who else have we got on this list? So Adam Vinatieri's on it also. Which that shouldn't even be a question, right? Vinatieri? If kickers are allowed in, he's in. Yeah, I think so. He's that important, yes. Torrey Holt, Reggie Wayne, Willie Anderson, the Bengal, Darren Woodson, Eric Allen, Fred Taylor also in there as well as part of the mix on that. But the receivers are going to be tough for a long time just because there's so many that you could say are worth. Like the fact that Torrey Holt, Reggie Wayne, those are both guys you would think would be slam dunks, but because how many receivers are on the ballot, it's not like they're going to take 4 receivers in 1 year. This is always dumb to me, too. Yep. With how we do these things. Well, we can only pick so many this year, and if somebody's a Hall of Famer, they're a Hall of Famer. It shouldn't matter how many other good players retired the same year they did. It's so dumb. Are these guys worthy or not? See, but I think I'd like that about the Pro Football Hall of Fame. I think I like the fact they do that. I think it's interesting to see how they do, like how that plays out versus the baseball one, which you could have anywhere from 0 to 9 inductees or whatever. I like it like this where it's set like that. But Antonio Gates has got to be a slam dunk too, doesn't he? I would think so. I would think the one thing that holds him back is he never really won anything with his teams, but his numbers are so good, and he helped revolutionize that position. He did. Finished with 955 catches for 11,841 yards and 116 touchdowns. So, I think Vinatieri's a lock. I think that Gates should be a lock. Beyond that, man, I don't know. Eli's going to get in, I think. I think he'll get in. I'm not sure if he's worthy or not. Kuechly was an All-Pro 5 times. He was first-round pick by the Panthers back in 2012. He was Defensive Rookie of the Year. During his 8-year career, he led all linebackers in tackles, takeaways, interceptions, and passes defended. And Terrell Suggs is a different kind of dude, man. I like Terrell Suggs quite a bit, but I can make the case for Torrey Holt. Willie Anderson had a damn good career as well, even though he didn't play in a lot of winning teams. Willie Anderson is someone that I heard that I was like, man, he should probably be in right away, not looking into it. And then the senior members, I can't believe Sterling Sharp isn't in the Pro Football Hall of Fame. I remember Sterling Sharp as being a top 2 or 3 wide receiver in the NFL with, Jerry Rice, right? The tail end of Jerry Rice. The neck Sterling, injury. They were the two. It was those 2 guys like Herman Moore, Detroit, guys like that. But the neck injury is what got Sterling Sharp early on that he didn't. So I guess I'd have to go back and look at his numbers and just take a look at his career more. But growing up, I remember, how good he was. Yes, Sterling Sharp was a guy who kind of came out of nowhere, in my opinion. But he certainly had a solid career. I'll tell you right now. He ended his career, though, but it was a brief career. He only played 7 seasons.
So it's the Terrell Davis type thing.
It's a Terrell Davis thing. But he also, in 7 seasons, had 8,134 yards, and he also had 65 touchdowns. He had that great year in 92 when he had 108 catches for 1,461 and 13 scores. But again, the neck injuries are what got him. But in 112 games, his 17-game average, if you would have done a 17-game season, an average for his career would be 90 catches for 1,235 yards and 10 touchdowns. So, yes, I could see making noise. Sterling Sharp, as part of that seniors committee, could get in on that one as well. Mike Holmgren, I think he gets in the coaches category, don't you?
I would think so. I was kind of surprised he wasn't in, too.
Yeah, I think Holmgren gets in as well. So, anyway, we will see how that plays out. Again, Super Bowl weekend is when they will announce that. The week of the Super Bowl, I should say, when they'll announce who's going into that Pro Football Hall of Fame class of 2025. All right. Coming up next, we'll tell you what's got us juiced. It's Morning Juice on the Fan.
Fan traffic.
From the Atlas Butler Plumbing Services Traffic Center.
There's an accident on State Route 315 southbound at King Avenue, blocking the left lane and causing slowdowns starting about Kinnear. They're also working to clear a crash on East Broad Street near Yearling Road, and traffic is just building. So far this morning on the south side, 270 at Lockbourne. Traffic's on the lighter side of light to moderate, and you're moving pretty well. I'm Heather Pasco for 97.1, The Fan Traffic.
Make the most of your holidays with the Kroger app. You can enjoy over $600 in digital coupons every week. Get access to low prices and earn fuel points to save up to $1 off per gallon at the pump. The Kroger app makes it easy to save this holiday season. Kroger, fresh for everyone. Savings may vary by state. Fuel restrictions apply.
And right now, check out this deal on bone-in whole pork shoulder. Just $1.49 a pound with your card. Kroger, fresh for everyone.
It's back January 10th through 19th at the Ohio Expo Center. The Ohio RV and Boat Show. Brought to you in part by Park National Bank. RVs, boats, motorcycles, ATVs, golf cars, and more. The Ohio RV and Boat Show at the Ohio Expo Center, January 10th through 19th. Get tickets online at OhioRVandBoatShow.com.
I'm an old school Joe. I never lay juice I don't want to lay. I don't hate my money like that. I'd rather lay minus 108 than minus 110. Wouldn't you? Prime Sports is Ohio's full-time reduced juice sportsbook. Download the Prime Sports Ohio app or visit our website, primesportsbook.com. Use promo code JUSTSPORTS. Get a welcome bonus up to $100 and spend the holidays with the Prime Sports family.
Terms and conditions apply. Visit website for details. Must be 21 or older and present in Ohio. If you or anyone you know has a gambling problem and wants help, call 1-800-GAMBLER.
For a limited time at Speedway, get 2 big pizza slices and your favorite Coca-Cola 20-ounce for only $5 with Speedy Rewards. Choose from Classic 3-Cheese, Pepperoni, or Extreme Meat Pizza. Save big with a $5 meal deal with Speedy Rewards. Only at Speedway. Valid through 1/7/25. See app for full terms.
Hey everybody, it's Austin Ward here, and last time this year I was down 43 pounds after just 2 months with Awaken 180. I broke into the new year at my goal of 50 pounds down. It felt great, and it still does. Get the same results at awaken180weightloss.com.
We're dealing at Reichert Ford. Hundreds of Fords in stock and priced to sell fast. With our lowest prices and 72-hour exchange policy, you can't buy the wrong car. Thousands of vehicles are waiting at ReichertFord.com.
Get the right car at Reichert.
We're dealing.
Common Man and T-Bone here for Hollywood Casino Columbus. Hey, Bone, did you know the sportsbook is now called ESPN Bet?
I did, and you can watch your favorite teams on the biggest screens, place your bets, and grab some wings with an ice-cold pint.
Maybe you're too boring and don't want to go to the casino. Good news. You can keep the action going and place your bets on the go with the ESPN Bet app.
The ESPN Bet Sportsbook is your 50-yard line ticket to odds, point spreads, and over-unders.
It's the place to be. Losers must be 21 or older. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-589-9966.
At NJM Insurance, we like to think of ourselves as a symphony. We start with a foundation of doing the right thing. Then we layer in dedicated reps whose priority is you. Add in excellent discount programs. And last, but certainly not least, we put our policyholders first. And the reason we don't use jingles or mascots is because it's just not us. No jingles or mascots, just great insurance. NJM. Insurance underwritten by NJM Insurance Company and its subsidiaries.
All your favorite and least favorite fan shows are available wherever you get your podcasts. Just type in 971 The Fan to the search bar and hit that subscribe button. It's free.
We're the land of the free and the home of the sunburnt, freckled fat guy.
Do it now.
Michelle Smallman here for the Capital One Venture X card. If you love to travel, Capital One has a rewards credit card that's perfect for you. With Venture X, you can earn unlimited double miles on everything you buy and turn all of your purchases into extraordinary travel. And you get premium benefits at a collection of luxury hotels when you book through Capital One Travel. Plus, you'll get access to over 1,000 airport lounges worldwide. Capital One, what's in your wallet? Terms apply. See CapitalOne.com for details.
Did your holiday shipping let your customers down? Or peak volumes too much to handle? Partner with ShipBob for better order fulfillment in 2025. ShipBob fulfills orders for you, whether they're from your website, retail partners, marketplaces, or social channels, and delivers affordable 2-day shipping from dozens of fulfillment centers across the U.S. and worldwide. Plus, our dashboard lets you view real-time inventory levels across all your locations and channels. Go to shipbob.com for a free quote.
The Fan Guest Hotline is sponsored by Right Way Heating and Cooling and Bryant, doing whatever it takes to keep you and your home comfortable. The Fan.
You're listening to Rob Manfred's least favorite radio show. This is Morning Juice.
That's the name of the show, Morning Juice. Since that's the name of the show, why don't we share with you this?
What's got you juiced?
Sponsored by Newman Roofing. Call Newman Roofing today at 614-NEW-ROOF or visit online at newmanroofing.com.
All right, Bakes. Let's start off with Schlegs. What's got Schlegs juiced?
Here we go, Tito.
Like my forearms, they're not bad. I mean, they're solid, but my calves are terrible. So I'm just going to get those popping because I'm liking everything else right now, but I'm going to get those things going. And I did calves like 3 days in a row, and I'm just going to keep doing it. I'm just going to do it till they grow. I'm going to manually grow them.
Manually grow those calves, Tito. Words to live by heading into the new year. Tito, I'm juiced just to one. Schlegs always gets you juiced.
Yes.
I don't know how he can. I'm juiced to be here with you this morning. Working here as we close out another year. Juice that, Tito, both of us have made it to another year. We think, at least.
Let's tap the brakes on it.
Got a couple days here, but
look, we got Carter died. Who else died? Somebody else died too, right? There was another one. There was a second celebrity death in there, and then
I'm not sure on
they
that
do it in
one.
threes. I'll tell you, I got to find it. They do it in threes. So not that I'm a celebrity, not that I'm the Jimmy Carter aura there, but I'm just saying.
Tito,
yes,
Jimmy Carter, right there in the pecking order.
Yes, one and the same. Yes.
But there's a lot of fun stuff going on here as we head to the new year. Just hopefully that juice that everybody made it through the holiday season here, heading towards this Rose Bowl, which, Tito, I'm surprised how juiced I am for this Rose Bowl game. I'm still nervous as heck. And I'm not picking Ohio State in this game. I'm not going in expecting them to win this game because I think Oregon's a really, really good football team, and what they did to Ohio State on both sides of the line in the trenches in that first game really concerns me coming into this game. But I am super pumped for it, and I'm super ready for it. And I'm also ready for this game at Nationwide on New Year's Eve tomorrow night. The Jackets and the Hurricanes, a good measuring stick for the Jackets as we go into 25, taking on Don Waddell's former team.
It's going to be a great couple of days there with that game you're talking about, the Jackets.
The CFP games.
The CFP games going on as well. By the way, the one that I thought about, Greg Gumbel, passed away at the age of 78.
That's right, yes.
So Gumbel.
Shame on us for not remembering that.
And by the way, Greg Gumbel.
We haven't even talked about it yet.
I know. So, and he was such a staple of March Madness. NFL too, don't get me wrong. But I'm saying, I'll remember him as the guy revealing the brackets, right?
For sure. He, yes, for that, but also for me, the one thing I remember him for is how versatile he was with the NFL. He was the studio show host forever.
Right.
And then all of a sudden he's hosting games and they bounced him back and forth, and he was just so good at all of it. Yeah,
he really was. And, Brian Gumbel's brother, but still, he had a 50-year career doing this kind of stuff. And certainly, yes. And by the way, go back and find the clip where you see with Charles Barkley Kenny Smith and Clark Kellogg and Barkley talking about him when he early in his career with the Sixers,
showering
in his uniform to wash it, and how much just the look of bewilderment and the laughter from Greg Gumbel. But Gumbel had such a great career with ESPN for a long time too, and it's one of those guys where in Baker, I don't know if you feel this also, but when someone like Greg Gumbel passes, I feel the same way I felt when Joe Nuxall passed or Keith Jackson. Mm-hmm. Guys like that I've never met in my life. Never met them. But their death affects me because I spent so much time listening to them.
Yeah, I don't know if I feel like it affects me personally, but it's just weird that some of those guys are gone. Like you mentioned Keith Jackson.
Right.
To this day, when I think of a big football game, big college football game, Keith Jackson is the voice that I hear. To this day, when I think of a big NFL game, Pat Summerall and John Madden are the voices I hear. When I think of a Reds baseball game, Joe Nuxall and Marty Brenneman are the voices I hear. So, yeah, I don't know if it affects me personally, but it is kind of weird. Like, those are the guys that I remember, and now they're gone.
Well, it's like, a couple years ago on Father's Day on Fan Sports Sunday, I had Kyle Summerall on, Pat's son. And we talked about that a little bit. And one of the things that, and we talked about this on the air at that time, but one of the beauties of modern technology is if I want to hear Pat Summerall calling a game, I can go back and find one now on YouTube. Same thing with Nuxall and Brenneman. You can find old Reds games, random Reds games.
You do that, right?
I do that all the time. Dude, I fall asleep with an AirPod in my ear. A lot of the times I fall asleep the same way I did when I was 8 years old and the Reds were on the West Coast. Listening to Nuxall and Brenneman.
With the radio under the pillow?
No,
so nobody could see it?
No, I had the big headphones, like where you could change the dials and stuff like that. Like the big ones that look like a Star Wars character kind of thing when you're wearing them, the Princess Leia look. But I wore those and would listen to Reds games. But the fact that, look, and I don't know if we'll do it with Greg Gumbel or not, but I certainly do it with Summerall and Madden, listen to their kinds of games. I do it with Monday Night Football, too. But the oldest ones with Cosell and Gifford and Meredith.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and, someone else we didn't even talk about, Marv Albert on big-time NBA games.
Yep. Yeah.
That's the voice I hear, like him and who was the Mike Fratello?
Mike Fratello was with them all. The was a czar of the telestrator. Is that what he called him, right?
Yeah, John Walton,
Bill Walton.
Bill Walton,
yes.
Bill Walton. Those
John's
guys.
brother.
It's just so funny thinking about that and all these guys that, have gone on and passed away. And you're like, man, it makes me feel like I'm getting old.
First of all, I don't know how to break this to you, but here, we'll do it this way. You are getting old.
I am.
I am getting old as well.
Sad.
Reminds me, by the way, of the Mitch Hedberg thing, where when he said, someone showed a picture, this is me when I was younger, and he said, every picture of you is when you were younger. But I think the next guy that might affect me would be Musburger.
Yeah.
I think that's probably the next one. Not that I'm trying to bury him. I'm not trying to kill Brent Musburger right
Definitely
now.
Not.
But I just think that might be the next one that will affect me that way.
Al Michaels.
Al Michaels would be one, too.
Yeah, Al Michaels would be one for me. Marty Brenneman.
Oh, Brenneman's living forever. Brenneman can't die. I wish they'd bring it back once a year to call a game. You know what I mean? Let's bring it back in there and let him do a game with the Cowboy,
Absolutely.
But yeah, I would think that'd be the next one that would, God, Brenneman would crush me. Because like I say, I think I told you this before, after a late night, we'll just call it an episode, I emailed Brenneman and Nuxall somehow. I sent him a message somehow and wanted to have dinner with them.
You called the banana phone, didn't you?
I called the banana phone. It was a different way. But crack is whack. Don't do that.
What we need here for this discussion right now is Shark. Because I bet Shark would have so many good ones to be talking about.
Yes, Shark, we should have him here for this. That's right. What's got me juiced? NFL Week 18. There are so many things still on the line. And the Bengals are still alive. And although I'm not a Bengals fan, obviously I'm a Steelers fan. I told all of you that many times over. And the fact that they still have a chance. Now, they need to win, and they need to have a loss by the Dolphins and a loss by the Broncos to end up getting in. It's highly, highly unlikely. But in Week 18, the Bengals are going to play the Steelers on the road, And that's going to be a Saturday game. The Saturday games, the AFC North teams are playing. Cleveland, Baltimore, 4:30, then Cincinnati, Pittsburgh. If Baltimore wins, that means they lock up the AFC North. Pittsburgh could rest their starters then as kind of a pseudo bye week before the first week of the playoffs.
Because they would be the 6th seed regardless.
They'd be locked in. They could be the 5 seed, right? Yeah, they're the 5 seed right now. They would be the 5 seed, I think. I don't know. Yeah, they could be the 5 seed right now. But anyway, so they could end up resting their starters in that game. Cincinnati would need to win. They would need Miami to lose at the Jets, which unlikely, but who knows which, Aaron Rodgers shows up. And Denver to lose to Kansas City. Kansas City is going to rest a lot of their players, I have to believe, because they've already locked up that number 1 seed, right? Steelers are the 5 right now, aren't they? Them
and the Chargers are tied with the same record. They might have the tiebreaker as of now, but...
And the Chargers, they will play. I'm trying to find their schedule. They're playing, obviously, a divisional game, I would guess, right?
Here's the problem with the Chiefs, though, sitting their starters, Tito. There is 23 days between Christmas Day and when they would play again after getting their bye in that divisional round. So are they going to want to let those guys take that much time off? I would think they're probably going to play them a half, right?
Would you play Mahomes? Mahomes been dinged up, gets hurt all the time.
And that's the thing. How healthy is his ankle? That would be the issue.
I would probably sit Mahomes and play Carson Wentz. And they've got enough talent, though, in depth to where if they play their backups, they could still be formidable. Now, it's going to be the game is going to be in Denver. Denver needs to win that game. Obviously, we'll see, unless what happens with Cincinnati. If Cincinnati loses to Pittsburgh, and then Denver will have a better understanding of where they're at. But and then Miami also, they've got their game. Miami is playing. They're playing the Jets, like I said, at the same time as the Broncos game. So I think Kansas City could end up sitting some of their starters. I wouldn't play Mahomes. I wouldn't play Kelsey.
And those are 2 pretty big starters.
They are. But look at it. Carson Wentz is still somebody trying to revive his career. And so I think it's dangerous.
It is. And Carson Wentz is a guy that has been there before with the Eagles. Had the great year with the Eagles. Now Nick Foles won the Super Bowl. Played in the Super Bowl and won that Super Bowl. But Carson Wentz is a guy that he's done it at a high level before. And, hey, you never know.
Yeah.
Cleveland Browns might be watching.
That's a great point because they love to do that. And but the best thing you do if you're a quarterback, though, is go to the Browns and then leave the Browns and be great elsewhere.
Yeah, 1 year. That's it.
That's all you got to do. Go there for 1 year.
1 year, and then I'm on to the next.
And then go there and be great somewhere else and stick it to the Browns and all their fans like the Browns organization always does. All right, coming up next, we've got a re-rack coming up. We'll recap the NFL scores from yesterday and talk about tonight's game between Detroit and San Francisco in the NFL. We'll do that next. Morning Juice right here on The Fan.
Fan traffic.
From the Atlas Butler Plumbing Services Traffic Center.
If you have to head out for the Monday drive, use some caution. There's a crash McNaughton Road at East Broad Street. Also, an accident on State Route 315 southbound at King Avenue. This one blocks your left lane, and traffic is hitting the brakes from Kinnear. The earlier accident, East Broad Street at Yearling Road, has cleared, so you're getting right back to posted speeds there. Overall, traffic is a little lighter than we typically see this time of morning. I'm Heather Pasco for 97.1, The Fan Traffic.
I'm Rick Reichert, and Reichert Ford is cranking things up for the year-end spectacular. And we're dealing. It's our biggest sale of the year. Lease a new 2024 hybrid F-150 for just $499 a month for 36 months, 0 down. Lease a new 2024 Bronco Sport for just $399 a month for 36 months, also 0 down. We're stacking them deep and selling them cheap. No other dealer in Columbus, in Ohio, or the entire United States is dealing like this, period. One of the largest Ford inventories in America, and it's all on sale. Get to the year-end spectacular. The grand finale of 2024 ends Thursday, January 2nd, only at Reichert Ford, the largest volume Ford dealer in Ohio, at Route 33 and Hamilton Road, 2 minutes off 270, and at ReichertFord.com. Based on 2023 Ford report for total new retail sales. Cincinnati region. Offers end January 2nd on approved credit. No security deposit required. Come in now, because we're dealing.
Get the right car at Reichert.
We're dealing.
Looking to end the year strong? Join Planet Fitness now through December 30th for $1 down, $15 a month, and pay nothing until January 17th. With top-tier strength and cardio equipment, free fitness training, and most clubs open 24 hours, everyone can level up in the judgment-free zone. Why wait to start feeling stronger? Get moving now. Join for $1 down, $15 a month, cancel anytime, and pay nothing until January 17th. Don't miss out. Deal ends Monday, December 30th. See club for details.
At Metal Supermarkets, we're all about getting you and your crew to quit in time sooner. That's why our service is a cut above. You see, no matter the project, we'll get you to the right metal, shape, and grade. Cut to any size, ready real fast. And yeah, we'll deliver, leaving plenty of time for the important things, like opening an ice-cold can of aluminum. Metal Supermarkets, the convenience store for metal.
It's back January 10th through 19th at the Ohio Expo Center. The Ohio RV and Boat Show, brought to you in part by Park National Bank. 3 enormous buildings with dealers that have brought the best selection of RVs, boats, motorcycles, ATVs, golf cars, and more. Wide open aisles, tons to see, fun for all. The Ohio RV and Boat Show at the Ohio Expo Center, January 10th through 19th. From towables to drivers, jet skis to pontoons, and more. It's all here. Join the fun. One-stop competitive shopping. Get tickets online at OhioRVandBoatShow.com.
Texting enrolls you in a recurring automated marketing text messages. Consent not required to purchase. Message and data rates may apply.
The team's looking good this season.
I think so. Man, I miss playing football. Being young with unlimited energy to burn. Ever since I turned 40, I just can't find that fire I used to have.
Think you could be lower testosterone?
What do you mean?
All guys lose their edge when they turn 40. The body has less testosterone. That's why I take Nugenix Total T.
I've heard about Nugenix. That really works?
Since I started taking Nugenix, I'm lifting like when we played for Coach Carter. I feel more energized at work. It's even spiced up things between me and the missus.
Are they still giving out complimentary bottles for people to try?
Yep, send a text. It's that easy.
Text STAY to 42424 right now for your complimentary bottle of Nugenix Total T. It's the #1 selling testosterone boosting brand at GNC and Walmart. Do it now and they'll also send you a bottle of Nugenix Thermo X, their newest, most powerful fat burner ever, absolutely free. Text STAY to 42424. That's STAY to 42424. These statements have not been evaluated by the FDA. This product is not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease.
Broadcasting from the Lindsay Honda Studios.
Honda makes the cars. Lindsay makes the difference. Visit lindsayhonda.com.
WBNS-FM, HD1 Columbus. The Fan. Sports Center.
Good morning. I'm Ryan Baker. The Cincinnati Bengals win a wild one and keep their playoff hopes alive. They beat the Denver Broncos 30-24 in overtime Saturday. The Bengals getting huge games from quarterback Joe Burrow and wide receiver T. Higgins. Burrow throws for 412 yards, 3 scores. He also rushes for 1. Higgins catches all 3 of those TD passes. The Cleveland Browns are now tied for the worst record in the NFL after losing to the Miami Dolphins yesterday. They fall 20-3. Both the Browns and the Bengals will be in action this Saturday. Cleveland heads to Baltimore to face the Ravens at 4:30. Cincinnati is in Pittsburgh to face the Steelers at 8. The Buckeye basketball team, they get a big win. They beat Indiana State 103-83. Bruce Thornton leads the way with 33. This one's sponsored by Valley Ford of Columbus, your F-150 headquarters and the official dealership of Carnell Tate.
1, 2, 3. Football season is weird because we actually look forward to Mondays. It's Reaction Monday.
Sponsored by the Roofing Guys.
The Fan. If this show made a scented candle, it would smell like bad coffee, unwashed jockstrap, and grass clippings.
I wasn't sure how you take your coffee.
You're listening to Morning Juice.
So, mouth or enema?
All right, Morning Juice here on The Fan. Baker and Tito with you. Make sure you keep it locked in here because after this, it's Bishop and Friends. Baker will stick around for part of that, and also have Tyvis and Eric Reeser running the show there.
Split duties on the producers for that show today. Cole will take over at 10:30. I will be here till then.
All right, let's do a little re-rack.
Keeping you informed about what's trending this morning. It's time for a little re-rack on Morning Juice.
Sponsored by Billiards Plus, your destination for top-of-the-line grills with up to 30-year warranties. Billiards Plus on Dublin Center Drive in Dublin.
Ohio State men get another victory. They beat Indiana State yesterday over at Value City Arena, the Schottenstein Center, I should say. They win that one by a score of 103-83. Bruce Thornton scores 33, second straight game of 30-plus. They'll host Michigan State on Friday at 8 o'clock. OSU women improved to 13-0 in the season, 2-0 in the Big Ten. They beat Rutgers 77-63. They are off until they host Northwestern on January 5th. This Ohio State team ranked right now 10th in the country, and they've got certainly Final Four potential on that team. Browns fall to the Dolphins 20-3. You heard Baker mention that the Bengals did win a wild one on Saturday against the Broncos. An overtime game in that one. That was 30-24. Burrow threw for 412 yards. T. Higgins had 131 yards receiving and 3 touchdowns.
Tito, that Bengals offense, when everyone is healthy, and when I say everyone, and they've got good pieces with Yoshi Vosh and Gesicki and some of those guys, but when Chase Brown, who has turned himself into a really good NFL running back this year, I believe, when Chase Brown, Jamar Chase, T. Higgins, and Joe Burrow are all there at healthy, I don't know if there's a better offense in all of football.
I don't think so either. I'm curious who happens to T. Higgins after the season, because having Chase and Higgins with Burrow and Brown is quite the damn vaunted offense.
I don't know how you pay them all. I really don't.
I don't either.
They messed up not giving Chase a contract before this year because his price has gone up. It's gone way up. And I don't know how you keep a defense and an offensive line paying those receivers. But, man, it'd be awful fun if they could keep them all somehow.
Buffalo beat the Jets 40-14 yesterday. Las Vegas 25, New Orleans 10. The Giants upset Indianapolis 45-33 and probably upset their fans, because now they will likely not have a shot at one of the quarterbacks, top 2 quarterbacks in the draft. If you believe those are the two, Shadur Sanders and Cam Ward, they drop now to probably like the 6, 7, 8 range as far as draft pick goes. Philadelphia blew out Dallas 41-70 without Jalen Hurts in the game on that one. Tampa Bay 48, Carolina 14. Baker Mayfield, another monster game for him. I think he threw for more touchdown passes in that game than Deshaun Watson has this season, if I remember correctly.
Yeah, you're probably right about that. Tito, real quick, though, back to that Eagles game. Not only was Jalen Hurts out, they lose Kenny Pickett in the second half. Tanner McKee comes in, and it seems like they didn't even miss a beat. He throws a touchdown pass right away.
Did you see what happened after that?
A.J. Brown threw the ball
A.J. Brown threw the stands and realized he needed to get back, and they find the fan, and he gives it back, and A.J. Brown gives
jersey.
Yeah, he gives him an autographed jersey after the game. That was pretty cool.
Nice.
Jacksonville over Tennessee 20-13. I mentioned the Dolphins over the Browns 20-3. Minnesota held on against Green Bay 27-25. That was close. Minnesota came back. They were down, I think, 27-10. And
Minnesota was putting it to them, and then Green Bay all of a sudden came back. Did you see the scene in the locker room afterwards?
Oh, yeah, with Darnold.
The guy picking up Darnold, and this guy's going to get probably $40 million now next year, and it was a guy we thought was on his way out of the league.
So do you think that the Vikings should tag him, sign him to a long-term deal, or let him go?
I mean, the tag is an interesting thing, because you can do it because you have another quarterback who you think is the quarterback in waiting on a rookie deal. So you could possibly tag him. I mean, is there a market for J.J. McCarthy and you sign Sam Darnold long term? I don't know how this is all going to work. I would have to think that he's going to want to go somewhere else, but I don't know what you do.
But if they tag him, he's locked in. He can't do anything else. You know what I mean? Like, they tag him. If he doesn't sign it,
gives you another year to figure out what you have with JJ.
And you can see what you got. If Darnold repeats this, then you might say, you know what? We found our franchise quarterback, and we're going to keep him.
And he's still young enough, right?
Right.
He's the same age as Allen and Baker and those guys.
This is one of the situations where I think it would make sense to either sign him to a long-term deal. More likely, the smart play is probably to tag him and see what you get next year out of him, and see what happens there. So tonight's Detroit. By the way, Commanders beat the Falcons overtime last night, 30-24 in the battle of the rookie quarterbacks. Michael Penix going up against Jaden Daniels there for Washington. An entertaining game for sure. Goes to overtime.
I didn't get to watch all of that game, but man, I was surely entertained watching Jaden Daniels, who I was totally wrong about. And Michael Penix, who a lot of people didn't like that draft pick. I loved it for the Falcons. They signed Kirk Cousins. They didn't know they were going to have the chance to draft Michael Penix, quite frankly. And I thought it was a great move. I didn't think it would come to fruition that he would be the starter this fast. And he's obviously got some things to learn, but man, he made some throws last night that very few guys can make. It's just exciting to see those guys, these young quarterbacks playing so well, and then some of these receivers, Ladd McConkey, Brian Thomas Jr., Malik Neighbors, obviously Marv. Not that the NFL, we were ever worried about it being in good hands, but there's some really good young players in this league right now.
There really are. The receiving thing, the receivers certainly for sure. Jaden Daniels yesterday, 227 yards passing, 3 touchdowns, 1 pick, 16 carries for 127 yards. Amazing.
That's good. And I'll tell you what, I got to give credit to this guy. And a lot of people aren't a fan of him. I actually like him. Mm-hmm. Colin Cowherd, back before the NFL draft, said if the Washington Commanders hit on their quarterback, they had everything to make a run and win the NFC East. Now, they're not going to,
right?
Because the Philadelphia Eagles have had such a good year this year. But the Commanders are a playoff team, and I don't think a lot of people had that going into this year. But Dan Quinn, his second go-round at this, they've got Cliff Kingsbury, who we know can call plays at least. It may not work for him as a head coach, but he's an offensive coordinator at least. Mm-hmm. Brian Robinson's a good running back. Terry McLaurin is such a stud at wide receiver. He didn't even do anything last night.
Right.
The Falcons locked him up.
Lockdown, yeah.
They went other places. It's just pretty impressive, the turnaround for this Commanders team.
Jackets are off tonight. They host Carolina on NYE at NWA at 8 o'clock. Just one bowl game today, the Music City Bowl in Nashville as Iowa takes on Missouri. By the way, Chip Kelly spoke over the weekend, and he was asked about playing this many games in a season, that Ohio State could have another 3 games still, which is amazing to think that. Could be a 16-game season for the Buckeyes. We hope it is. Here's what Chip Kelly had to say.
I think there's a little bit of a break. There was a break between the last game of our season and then the first round of the playoffs. And then I don't know if it's 10 or 12 days between round 1 and round 2 here in the quarterfinals. And then I think it's not a week-to-week thing, similar to like it is in the NFL. There's a little bit of a break in there. So you just have to manage it the way you can manage it. But the other teams you're playing are going through the same exact thing. So it's not like one team's at a bigger advantage, So I know Oregon had last week off, but they did play in a championship game, the week before that. So they didn't have the week off after the end of the season. So it's just how it is, and it is going to be a battle of attrition when you get down to the end.
Oregon played on December 7th against Penn State, and now they're off, 24 days before they play Ohio State on New Year's Day. We'll see if it's rest or rust with Oregon. And Ohio State, obviously, January 1st, that game against Oregon here on the Fan. We've got 14 hours of coverage, something ridiculous like that. Here is Will Howard. Now, he said that he's talking about the underdog mentality. I'm not convinced they're an underdog based on the betting spread they're not, but here's Will Howard talking about the underdog mentality.
Yeah, that's the challenge, man, is keeping that edge. And I think we play well when we have that underdog, kind of chip on our shoulder mentality. And that's what we came out with last game. And that's the challenge is, how do we not listen to any of the good stuff right now? Because, the same people that are patting us on the back were, beating us down 2 weeks ago. So you just got to remember that and remember to not eat any of the sugar and just, keep our heads down and keep grinding and keep having that same edge and that same mentality. And it really starts with how we practice, I think.
I am so much in the camp of Will Howard. I interviewed him at the celebrity softball game, the Cardale Jones thing, and I was blown away with him at that point. Spent 10 minutes talking to him, and this dude's the real deal. And I know McCord had a great year. I get that. I know Quinn Ewers has been really solid at Texas. I will still take Will Howard over both those guys on this Buckeye team, Bakes. Would you?
Yeah, I think because of the fit.
Pause.
Because of the fit. Well, Quinn Ewers has had a pretty good year for Texas.
Sure.
And listen, Kyle didn't work here, and Kyle got a lot of blame for things, but Kyle was still good. Kyle's a good college quarterback. And listen, Will's the same to me. He's a good college quarterback. He is just a better fit for this offense, I believe.
And a bigger, more mobile guy.
Yes, correct. And that's the thing, the fit with the mobility. Kyle had no mobility.
Yep. All right, coming up next, Jane Franklin has what he calls an obvious choice for college football commissioner. We'll tell you if we agree with that or not. That's next. Morning Juice on the Fan.
Fan traffic.
From the Atlas Butler Plumbing Services Traffic Center.
I'm keeping an eye on a couple of slow spots. Even with the lighter than normal traffic volumes, you'll find an accident. State Route 315 southbound at King Avenue, blocking your left lane and causing some stop-and-go delays. Also an accident on McNaughton Road at East Broad Street. And we do have a stall on 670 eastbound at Leonard Avenue. That is on the shoulder, but it is the left side. I'm Heather Pasco for 97.1, The Fan Traffic.
Fan Traffic is sponsored by Prime Sports. Download the Prime Sports Ohio app today or visit primesportsbook.com and use promo code JUSTSPORTS for a welcome bonus of up to $100.
Are you heading into the new year with that same old joint pain in your knees, your back, your hips, your shoulder? Hey, it's Bobby Carpenter. Don't wait any longer. Make the decision to say, no, I'm not going to do it anymore. I'm going to get this fixed in 2025 with the help from my friends at QC Kinetics. The nation's leader in regenerative medicine and joint preservation are right here in Columbus under the leadership of Dr. Ray Tesner, founder of Grant Sport Medicine and classically trained orthopedic surgeon. He'll explain how it can revitalize your joints with advanced orthobiologic treatments right here at QC Kinetics. There's no steroids, no surgery, no drugs, no downtime. The future of medicine is using your own natural solutions like PRP to attack the pain from arthritis. They've got it all there, so learn what thousands of others have done. Call QC Kinetics today for a free consultation and get that joint pain out the window in 2024. Call 380-208-4544. That's 380-208-4544. They have offices in Dublin and Gahanna.
I'm Rick Reichert, and Reichert Ford is cranking things up for the year-end spectacular. And we're dealing. It's our biggest sale of the year. Lease a new 2024 hybrid F-150 for just $499 a month for 36 months, zero down. Lease a new 2024 Bronco Sport for just $399 a month for 36 months, also zero down. We're stacking them deep and selling them cheap. No other dealer in Columbus, in Ohio, or the entire United States is dealing like this, period. One of the largest Ford inventories in America, and it's all on sale. Get to the year-end spectacular. The grand finale of 2024 ends Thursday, January 2nd, only at Reichert Ford, the largest volume Ford dealer in Ohio, at Route 33 and Hamilton Road, 2 minutes off 270, and at ReichertFord.com. Based on 2023 Ford report for total new retail sales. Cincinnati region. Offers end January 2nd on approved credit. No security deposit required. Come in now, because we're dealing.
Get the right car at Reichert.
We're dealing. For a limited time at Speedway, get 2 big pizza slices and your favorite Coca-Cola 20-ounce for only $5 with Speedy Rewards. Choose from classic 3-cheese, pepperoni, or extreme meat pizza. Save big with a $5 meal deal with Speedy Rewards. Only at Speedway. Valid through 1/7/25. See app for full terms.
1877 Cars for Kids. KARS Cars for Kids. 1877 Cars for Kids. Donate your car today.
Donate today at carsforkids.org. That's cars with a K. Your car can be picked up as soon as the next day. Receive a tax deduction and vacation voucher.
1877 Cars for Kids. Donate your car today.
Now accepting donations of land, homes, buildings, or any kind of real estate.
'Tis the season to raise a little Cane with Raising Cane's. Spread joy with craveable chicken finger meals and treat everyone on your nice list to a Cane's gift card or our beanies, socks, mugs, and more. Happy holidays from Raising Cane's. One love.
Common Man and T-Bone.
Pooh bearing, if you don't know, that is
Pooh bearing.
Matty Ice when he's at home by himself. What does he do? He wears a T-shirt and no pants. That's Pooh Bear.
I see.
Common Man and T-Bone.
Sponsored by the Hinderer Motor Company.
Weekdays 3 to 6 on The Fan.
Healthcare.gov has plans for health because you have plans for life. All plans cover doctor visits and emergency care to keep you and your family running strong. All plans cover hospital stays and prescriptions so you can have peace of mind. Visit healthcare.gov to explore health plans from the brands you know. 4 out of 5 customers can find a health plan for $10 or less per month with financial help. Healthcare.gov is here for you. Final deadline to enroll is January 15th. Paid for by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services.
Hello, it's John Kozik, founder and president of TurboTrack Realty, and I buy real estate as is fast for cash. Give us a call today for an all-cash offer at 614-470-2000, 614-470-2000. I buy vacant properties, inherited homes, divorce situations, death in the family. I even buy my tenants won't pay me the rent houses. Give us a call today for an all-cash offer at 614-470-2000, 614-470-2000.
Fan weather.
From the Logan AC and Heat Services Weather Center.
Time now to check in on that weather report. Cloudy out there right now, but I'm optimistic we get rid of these clouds later on today. Today's high 50, tonight's low 40. Tuesday, expect some rain in the morning. Showers could be heavy at times. Tomorrow's high, 53. I'm meteorologist Dylan Robichaud with your 10 TV weather impact forecasts on 97.1 The Fan.
FanDuel is the exclusive online sportsbook partner of Morning Juice. Just sign up at FanDuel.com/juice. The Fan, Ohio sports destination.
Bobby played football for Bill Parcells and Bill Belichick. Beamer played football for a drunk named Joe who worked at the gas station. You're listening to Morning Juice.
Morning Juice. Tito with you, Ryan Baker with you. Make sure you stick around because at 8:30, Joshua Perry from NBC, former Buckeye great, former NFL player, will join us. We'll do that at 8:30. Coming up next, by the way, Bishop and Friends. No Bishop, but Friends. You do have Eric Reeser in the house with Tyvis Powell and Ryan Baker there. And then also Cole will fill in as well for a bit as a producer. But lots going on today. Lots to talk about Ohio State. They'll do a lot of Buckeye talk, I'm sure, with the game coming up here just a couple of days away. James Franklin came out and had a nomination for, said college football needs a commissioner overseeing the sport. And he said, this was yesterday on Fiesta Bowl Media Day, let's get a commissioner of college football that is waking up every single morning and going to bed every single night, making decisions that's in the best interest of college football. I think Nick Saban would be the obvious choice if we made that decision. Now, Nick will probably call me tonight and say, don't do this, but I think he's the obvious choice, right? Is Nick Saban, first of all, do you need a college football commissioner, and is Nick Saban the right choice? I think you do need a college football commissioner, a CFB commissioner. I think you need that. I don't know if Saban's the right choice, but I think he has college football's best interests at heart, don't you?
So when I first heard this, I thought there's got to be some bias in this, right?
Right.
Not from James Franklin, but if Nick Saban, being so close to everything with Alabama, there would have to be some kind of Alabama SEC bias, and we already know that people scream that anyway. Sure. So I think it would be hard, but almost anybody you put in there would be bias, right?
Yeah.
Like, say you put, and I'm just
put Tressel there.
Tressel, yeah. Or like we've heard a lot of people say this because he had experience in government. While we've heard a lot of people say Anthony Gonzalez needs to be the guy that runs this.
Okay.
He's got experience doing this kind of stuff. There would have to be some kind of Ohio State bias there. Right now, maybe he's been away from it long enough that there wasn't. This is my one thing, I think, with Saban, because I think there's going to be bias with whoever. Do we want a guy that may not be long for the job? Don't we want to put somebody in there that is a little bit younger, energetic, that not that Saban isn't, because Saban, obviously, for his age, is in great shape and gets around great, but get somebody that can be in there for 10 or 15 years and go through these changes. Somebody that's grown up in them a little bit, the changing of college football, and that can kind of ride this wave a little bit for a while. Give it some stability.
I could see that, but I think that's more important for the next guy. Like, if you start it right now, if you say we're putting a commissioner in for college football, I'm okay with having an older guy who might only do it for a year or two just to get it ready. Then I would go younger after that. We've seen it. Major League Baseball's first commissioner was Judge Kennesaw Mountain Landis, who they got after the Black Sox scandal. And he was not a young guy, but he was the first one. And I don't remember how long he held the post, but nonetheless, he was an older gentleman at the time. And he ended up he was their first commissioner for a while. But so I'm okay with doing that kind of thing where you get an older guy just to get it going.
But we know Saban left because he didn't like where college football was heading.
Right.
He didn't want to deal with this. So what makes us think he wants to deal with it at the highest level of it?
Maybe because he can impact change. And I'm not saying it's good. There's no way college football is not going back to where it used to be. And it will never be the way that it was when Nick Saban had all his success.
But there's got to be some guardrails here.
Yes, I would think so as well. One of the big problems Franklin had was with the transfer portal, the calendar, the way it's set up. Their backup quarterback.
Bo Pribula.
Yeah, Bo Pribula. He entered the portal before their playoff game against SMU and stopped playing. And part of that was Franklin said the quarterback was put in an impossible situation because of the calendar. And, for instance, they also said that Penn State, many players were taking final exams the week of their first-round playoff game. Franklin wanted to say, God forbid we talk about academics, right? That used to be every conversation started with the academics. That's becoming less and less. Maybe I'm old school, maybe I'm traditionalist, but I still believe in the model. Rather than just say this is a problem, I thought I would throw out a few recommendations, but I think one of the most important things we can do is let's get a commissioner of college football. I don't want to hear about academics anymore with college football. I don't want to hear about it. Because college football, it's no longer student-athlete. It's athlete.
No, it isn't. I mean, they're getting paid. It's professional athletes, right?
Right.
We ain't here to play school. It's never been more true than it is right now.
And look, I get it. Rah, let's be the way it used to be, where you get the guys in their 80s wearing their varsity sweaters or whatever to the games. That's fine. It's not that way anymore. It is not it's not the college football you grew up with, unless you're 19. It's not the college football you grew up with, though. It's not what you and I grew up with, Baker. It's no longer, and I know that Ohio State will pump their chest out, and I get it about, we've got the highest grade point average ever among our football team, and that's wonderful. I'm glad they do it. I'm just saying that I don't believe any longer that academics is that important when it comes to college football.
It's way down on the list.
Yes.
That's for sure, of the priorities. Tito, I want to take this a step further, though. College football is such a business now that I think we need more than a commissioner. We need a commissioner, but we need 4 or 5 guys to work with him every day.
Sure.
Because I think there's enough things, especially right now, where there's no rules on any of this, and they need to reel in a lot of this quick. I'd like to have a committee of guys working with this commissioner to get on top of all these things. I think it's probably needed.
Anytime you say committee, it's going to feel weird to me because we have this scarring with the College Football Playoff Committee. Okay, but I'm with you. Yes, there are so many different things as part of this now. So many different changes that have gone on. It has been it's been a complete change from where it was even 5 years ago to where we're at now, because the playoff will expand again.
It's a complete change from last year.
It is. By the way, speaking about the college football playoff, all the grief the committee did catch, and I'm not saying it wasn't justified, for the way the seeding went and the fact, Boise State, Arizona State shouldn't have, buys in the first round and whatnot. Are we going to have people complain about that in the NFL as well? Because the winner of the loser, I should say, of the Vikings-Lions game, the loser will have at least 13 wins, right? And you can have a 13-win team then playing on the road against the NFC South champion, maybe a 10-7 Tampa Bay team, or it could be a 9-8 Tampa Bay team for all we know. But you could have even a 14-win team. You could have that could be happening right there, where you're going to have a team with 13 or 14 wins playing at a team that might not have double-digit wins. Will there be complaints about that?
I don't know. Probably because we're used to it. It's happened before, and also we only have one team that gets a bye. We don't have these multiple teams getting buys in this. Tito, what do you think about this? I've said this all along. If we were going to expand, can we get rid of the committee and just go back to a BCS-type formula to find the 12 best teams? Wouldn't that be the best way to do it, is take the human element, except for, and I believe the BCS kept the polls in it, so you would have the poll element of it.
That was a faction of it, yes.
And you have the element of whoever's programming the computer program that puts them in, obviously. But can we just go back to that kind of formula, kind of like high school does, and do a computer points type thing to get our 12 best teams?
Are you going to give buys, or bids, automatic bids to conference champions?
You're going to do, if you're doing the conference champions, that's fine, but everything else plays out by these rankings from the computers.
I wouldn't be opposed to that until a team gets screwed. And by the way, I wouldn't be opposed to Ohio State gets screwed. Then I'd be opposed to it at that point, which I'm sure most fans would be.
We complain about the 68th team in the NCAA tournament every year. We're going to complain about this 12th or 14th or 16th team. There's always going to be someone who thinks it's unfair.
Yes. You're right. No matter what the number is.
Who does it.
Right.
Whether it's computers or whether it's people.
Right. I think I like the people part of it still over computers just because I don't want some kind of glitchy, weird thing. At least this way okay, let's say the computer thing spits out whatever the numbers are, and like in this year, Alabama doesn't get in. You can't ask a computer, why didn't you put Alabama in? There might be like analytics around it, but no one can answer for it. At least with the CFP, you have humans who can answer for it.
Well, you could always answer for it because you saw the things that it put into its formula, like strength of schedule and opponents' winning percentage and who opponents beat and all of that kind of stuff. I mean, we always had those answers in the BCS era. We just probably didn't like them because it was only the top 2 teams back then.
I think the committee this year, the 8 best teams in college football are in. Out of the 12, right? Would you say at least the 8 best?
Yeah, I would say so.
Okay. And I think that 6 of the 8 best are playing in the quarterfinals. Maybe not Boise State and Arizona State, but it's like 6 of the best 8.
I think we're sleeping on Boise State. I really do.
But I think when we get to the Final Four, we'll be okay with it. I think when we see our Final Four teams, I don't think they will be a gripe. And I feel the same way about the NCAA tournament. I think people like upsets early on. When it gets down to like the Elite 8 and the Final Four, they want the Blue Bloods.
Yeah.
They don't want George Mason winning it.
And the funny thing is about this, and I'm not a CFP guy. I don't like this expansion. It's going to be probably the same 4 teams that we said at the beginning of the year.
Probably will be. All right, coming up next in 2 minutes. It's his favorite day of the week. He chose to spend part of it with us. NBC Joshua Perry joins us next. Morning Juice on the Fan.
Fan traffic.
From the Atlas Butler Plumbing Services Traffic Center.
The Monday morning drive is a couple of slow spots with a crash on State Route 315 southbound at King Avenue, blocking the left lane. You're on the brakes from Kinnear Road. We also have a stall, 670 eastbound at Cleveland Avenue on the left shoulder. An accident, McNaughton Road at East Broad Street. And the traffic signals are not working properly. High Street at Rich Street, so plan for slowdowns. I'm Heather Pasco for 97.1, The Fan Traffic.
Prescriptions require an online consultation with a healthcare provider who will determine if appropriate. Restrictions apply. See website for details and important safety information. Subscription required. Price varies based on product and subscription plan.
Hi, I'm Dr. Peter Stahl, board-certified urologist and Senior Vice President of Men's Sexual Health at HIMSS. In my 12 years of practice as a reproductive urologist, I've helped many guys with ED, and it has never been more convenient to treat than it is right now, thanks to HIMSS. It really wasn't easy before. You had to take time out of your day, come to a physical office, and see a specialist like me in person. Now, through HIMSS.com, you can get world-class sexual health care and a full range of treatment options for ED through a 100% online process. It starts with a free assessment from a medical provider licensed in your state who can determine if ED treatment is right for you. If prescribed, your medication is shipped to you for free. So don't wait. Join the hundreds of thousands of guys who've gotten help for their ED through HIMSS.
To start your free online visit and find ED treatment at up to 95% off brand name prices, go to hims.com/joy. That's hims.com/joy for your free online visit.
Make the most of your holidays with the Kroger app. You can enjoy over $600 in digital coupons every week. Get access to low prices and earn fuel points to save up to $1 off per gallon at the pump. The Kroger app makes it easy to save this holiday season. Kroger, fresh for everyone. Savings may vary by state. Fuel restrictions apply.
Save big on 2-liter bottles of Coca-Cola, Pepsi, or 7-Up. Select varieties are just $1.49 each with your card and digital coupon. Kroger, fresh for everyone.
We are your radio home for the Buckeyes, Browns, and all the NFL games you can handle. We may have a bit of a football problem. Oh, yeah? The Fan, Ohio sports destination. Just a couple of dudes being guys.
What's better than this? Guys being dudes.
You're listening to Morning Juice.
Morning Juice. Tito and Ryan Baker with you here until 9 o'clock. Then Bishop and Friends take over. Right now, we'll help the Bryant Heating Cooling Systems fan guest hotline, joined by NBC's Joshua Perry, former Buckeye great. Joshua, we were talking before about was James Franklin nominated Nick Saban to be the commissioner of college football, and somebody on the chat reached out to me and said, can't we just do a salary cap and then enforce that and make it even across the board? And my thought is, Joshua, that even if you have a salary cap, teams that want to cheat will find a way around that. Do you agree with that?
Yeah, I mean, the cheaters are always going to cheat. Here's the other part about it. Like, I feel like we have completely lost the plot on what name, image, and likeness is. And this was a conversation that popped up over the weekend with Cam Ward and, like, playing half the bowl game. But, like, what is happening with the rev share is one thing, and that does have a cap to it. Name, image, and likeness is basically like money for endorsement deals. It's like, you're a quarterback, you're really good, you're popular, you're marketable. That's what your NIL value is. But we've turned that completely into pay for play. And so when people are like, oh, let's put a salary cap to it, how are you going to cap what somebody's worth to a company to do an endorsement deal with them? And so I feel like we got to kind of rethink what this actually looks like and what this actually is. But yeah, I mean, I would love guardrails. I'd love to figure it out. I'd like a little bit more of an even playing field. But I also understand, like, if we're talking true name, image, and likeness, like, you can't tell me how much I'm worth to, Nike. You can't tell me how much I'm worth to Pop-Tarts. Like, they get to make the decision on that.
Joshua, is this something then where we should keep the schools out of NIL and let the players maybe get agents or whatever they need, and they can go make their own NIL deals, but keep these collectives and the universities out of the NIL part of this?
Yeah, I've always been a person who says let's keep the collectives out, because you're essentially creating like a slush fund to be able to purchase players on a year-to-year basis. I think that's what kind of made the whole NIL discussion more convoluted than it needed to be. Is it's like, you have these organizations that have assigned a value now to a roster slot on a certain school, but it's also not supposed to be tied to you as a player necessarily. It's you more as a person and how marketable you are. That makes any sense at all. So in saying all of that, if you remove the collectives and you said that the universities had a rev share that they had to be a part of, that had a hard cap, and then, like, local companies, national companies can come in and do the deals with the players, now you're kind of avoiding this thing where it's like, oh, here's this war chest of money that we have that we can spend however we want to, and we can create the NIL deals afterward. Like, I'm not exactly sure that was the spirit of what NIL was supposed to be.
Joshua Perry joins us here on the Bryant Heating and Cooling Systems Fan Guest Hotline. It feels like this could be, for some players, a headache. Now, just asking back, like, dealing with all these things now with NIL, the money's great, I get it. Looking back to when you played, would you have preferred to be in the NIL era, or just think, you know what, that's too much stuff to worry about, I just want to play football?
I mean, too much. I'd take the headache, right? You cut me a check, I'll deal with the little headache. It's kind of the thing that we all thought about is, what would life be like right now if, and I'll even boil it down to something simpler. What would life be like right now if I could walk into Roosters and get some chicken wings and not have to pay for them and it wouldn't be an issue, right? Like, I think that was kind of the world I envisioned a little bit more, the world that I would have seen myself in. It's like, you do a couple deals, you make a few dollars, you sign some autographs, maybe a couple of appearances, but, like, when I go into Roosters, they take care of me. I get to eat all the wings I want, and I don't have to worry about the bill. That's a world that I could have seen myself living in for sure.
Well, now I know where I'm going for lunch today.
Right, thank you.
For that, Joshua.
Yes. He knows we're in bed with Roosters too on this show, so that was well done. That was very well done by Joshua Perry on that.
Joshua, we've had one round of the expanded college football playoff. I don't know what your thoughts were on it heading into it, but the first round wasn't very competitive with any of the four games. Did that first round change your thoughts at all, or are you still where you were heading into this?
No, I think the first round further radicalized me on how I felt about playoff expansion. From the standpoint of, I think it's okay to be honest about the idea that Indiana and SMU, and we'll find out about, Arizona States of the world coming up here shortly. But I think it's okay to be honest and say that they are not good enough football teams to compete for a national title. I think that's fine. There's a flip side where if you're in Alabama, for example, and you lost 3 games, so 1 in every 4 games you play, you lose, and you would have to play 4 games to win a championship. I can't trust you. You were terrible on the road this year. You would have to go on the road to win a championship. I can't trust you. Those teams certainly did not deserve to be in there. There are too many damn teams competing for a championship at the end of the year. That's my biggest problem with it. I heard you guys actually talking about how it's ranked and how those teams are getting in. Should they go back to the BCS? I looked it up. And the BCS would have had Alabama there at 11. Arizona State was on the outside looking in. Alabama still would have been out if they would have used the BCS rankings because of the way this thing is seeded and how that selection goes. So there is a fundamental issue of the idea that the 12 best teams per any of the rankings, the committee's rankings, or if we wanted to go back to the computers, per those rankings, don't even get to compete in this field at the end of the year. And that's asinine to me. Like, are we trying to create a system where we feel like all of the conferences are involved and the little guy gets a shot? Or are we trying to crown a champion where all of the best teams should be in there, even if the field's too big? I think this thing is very flawed. I'm not mad about the games. I love watching them. I will always cheer this sport on. This is not going to turn me off of college football, but it is a crazy way to try to crown a champion, which I think should be the most important thing for any sport.
Is it good or bad for college football if Arizona State or Boise State wins the championship?
I don't think it can be a bad thing. I don't think it can be a bad thing if you had a Cinderella, because it's a thing that people like me say can never happen in the sport. I think one of those teams needs to win in these quarterfinal games. I really do. I think that the Fiesta Bowl needs to be an upset. I think that Arizona State needs to get a win. Something like that has to happen, I think, to give credibility to having teams like that in, because if Indiana loses and SMU loses and Arizona State loses, Boise State loses, we're all going to sit back and say this is a terrible, flawed way to do it in the first place. So it can't be a bad thing if one of those teams would make a run, because all of the detractors and naysayers, people like myself, would have to look up and be like, okay, well, maybe Cinderella can exist in college football, a sport which is completely lacked parity for a very long time.
Ohio State probably played their best game of the year the last time we saw them when they beat Tennessee last Saturday night. Man, they looked really aggressive calling things on the defensive side of the ball. They looked aggressive in their offensive play calling. Do you think we see that same philosophy in the Rose Bowl New Year's Day?
I think it has to be. I'm sure that Ryan Day is aware of that. Like, all of his best game plans, both offensively and defensively, have come when they've been extremely aggressive. But now is the time where you got to do it, because it's you have to win, right? Like, you don't get any more shots at it. It was fantastic watching the offense. You mentioned the aggression, just the variation, the creativity, and the scheme, I thought really stood out. Players execute extremely well, too, and so they deserve a lot of credit for that, the coaches for getting them prepared. But the defense has been the thing for me, and all the changes that they made coming out of the first time that they played Oregon, I think this is kind of the redemption point for them. I know they're excited about it, and I'm curious for a team like Oregon, which has had a ton of time off, and that can be a good or a bad thing. But they've won all of their games. And so you don't make wholesale changes when you've won all of your games, right? You make little tweaks here or there. And I feel like Ohio State has been forced to make some bigger changes. How much does that affect the way that Oregon's prepped and how much they think they have to do differently? I'm very curious about kind of the chess match there, but it's aggressive for Ohio State. That has to be the mentality, and I think they can get it done.
It's going to be a great couple days for sure. Joshua, thank you so much for the time, buddy, and Happy New Year to you and yours, and we'll talk again next week, man.
All right. Appreciate you all. Take care.
That was Joshua Perry joining us on the Bryant Heating Cooling System Fan Guest Hotline. Yeah, Bakes.
Man, Tito, you want to know why Joshua Perry is doing what he's doing with NBC and all of that? We are having a conversation 5 minutes before he comes on. He pulls up the information like that, and hearing him talk about that, he could have swayed me whichever way he wanted, because he was so good and had so much conviction and knows it so well. That's why this guy's working for NBC.
I feel like my producer should have done that. Anyway, that's great that Joshua Perry did.
I'm doing a lot over here today.
I know. I've already put it up on your shoulders for today. I know.
It was my idea, though. So.
Right. No, but yes, Joshua Perry doing that. You're right. That's why he's a pro.
Yes,
that's why he's
absolutely.
NBC. That's why he is Mr. Worldwide. All right, coming up next, we'll wrap things up. Final segment of the program. We'll reveal our fan poll next. This is Morning Juice on the Fan.
Fan traffic.
From the Atlas Butler Plumbing Services Traffic Center.
Traffic volumes are pretty light for the morning drive, but we do have a couple of problems out there. Now, you will find an accident McNaughton Road at East Broad Street. Also, a stall on 670 eastbound at Cleveland Avenue. That's on the left shoulder, so keeping things slow. And the traffic signals are not working properly. High Street at Rich Street, so you're a little slow in all directions there. I'm Heather Pasco for 97.1, The Fan Traffic.
Men, the new year is here, and if you're like many of us, you're going to make a resolution to improve your health. But if you're feeling sluggish and low energy, if your sleep patterns are off, if you've been working out and aren't seeing the gains you used to see, making that resolution may not be so easy. This is Jeff for Tri-State Men's Health, and if you're feeling the way I just described, we can likely help you with that resolution, because those symptoms probably mean you're suffering with low testosterone. And at Tri-State Men's Health, we're experts in treating this condition. With our low T protocols, if you're like most men, the change will astound you. You'll feel more energy and better mental clarity, your sleep will improve, your workouts will be better, and you'll likely find your sex drive goes up as well. So call us today and get treated for your low T. Your initial visit is only $99 and includes blood work and a medical consult. And if you start on testosterone the day of your appointment, your visit is free. Call 800-900-9654 or go to tristatemenshealth.com. That's tristatemenshealth.com. Tri-State Men's Health, a Promenic restorative health practice.
Hey friends, Beamer here, and you know what? I just found out that Daisy Sour Cream, the company that makes the awesome jingles and the sour cream, they just launched French onion and ranch sour cream dips. You know, I love dips, and these new dips from Daisy Sour Cream, they're a total game changer. They taste just as good as if they were homemade, if not better, because you don't have to clean up the mess you made in your kitchen. They're made with Daisy Sour Cream, real herbs, real spices, and the new dips from Daisy are made with ingredients you can find in your own kitchen. Nothing more. How about that? Try them with your favorite chips, veggies, other foods, maybe even your own hands. They're that delicious.
Hey, it's Anthony, and the Happy Honda Days are powering through the holidays at Germain Honda of Dublin. Rich is delivering all of the new Honda toys, including the new Prologue, the first all-electric SUV from Honda at 0% APR up to 72 months. Also, he's throwing you 0.9% up to 60 months on most new Hondas. And he won't even require a payment on the new purchases for 90 days. Go get the Honda of your holiday dreams with my friends at Germain Honda of Dublin on Sawmill Road just south of 270.
Hey, it's Bobby Carpenter. In procrastination, it's the thief of time. Do you really want to head into the new year with the same old joint pain, the stuff that's been bothering you all the way through this last year and probably many prior years? Make the decision now to say no. I'm going to get it fixed, and I'm going to get moving again in 2025 with the help from my friends at QC Kinetics. See, they're the leaders in regenerative medicine and joint preservation. They're located right here in Columbus, Ohio, under the leadership of Dr. Ray Tesner, the founder of Grant Sports Medicine and a classically trained orthopedic surgeon. He's going to help you revitalize your joints with advanced orthobiologic treatments at QC Kinetics, things like PRP, so you don't have to have surgery. There's no drugs. There's no downtime. It's the future of medicine. Tens of thousands of people already know about it, so don't wait any longer. Go give them a call at 380-208-4544 for your free consultation. That's 380-208-4544. They have offices in Dublin and Gahanna, so they're conveniently located all through Central Ohio.
Much like a vampire, we need to be invited into your house. But once we're in, we never leave. Listen to The Fan on your Alexa or Google Home smart speaker. Just say play 97.1 The Fan and prepare to be amazed. Do it now.
Getting quality employees to fill positions in your company is essential. But finding those people can be a major hassle, unless you use ZipRecruiter. ZipRecruiter makes finding quality people a breeze. And right now you can try it for free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. With ZipRecruiter, one click sends your job to hundreds of top job sites. But more than that, ZipRecruiter's advanced technology identifies the candidates with the skills you need, sends you a list of great matches to review, then actively invites them to apply for your job. And the results speak for themselves. 4 out of 5 employers who post on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. That's right, the first day. Now you can focus on your business and let ZipRecruiter do the work finding the best people for you. See for yourself. Experience the ease, efficiency, and power of ZipRecruiter for free. Just go to ZipRecruiter.com/free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free. ZipRecruiter.com/free.
It's almost Football Friday. All play and no work.
Sponsored by Tansky Sawmill Toyota.
Your home for football, The Fan. If you can find a show that's closer to Buckeye football, it would be hosted by Ryan Day. You're listening to Morning Juice.
This is why our listeners are the best, Bakes. Bill in the chat just said that this just dropped, and I went and looked it up, and it's true. 6 players are suing Florida State basketball coach.
Oh, boy.
For $1.5 million, saying that he promised them an NIL but never delivered. 6 former Florida State basketball players filed a lawsuit today against Leonard Hamilton, their former coach. And because they said there's $1.5 million they were supposed to get paid, and they did not. And they also said they boycotted a practice last season over the missed payments.
I mean, we saw what happened with UNLV this year.
Right.
Their starting quarterback.
Right.
Taken off after a great start to the season because the NIL deals weren't there. There's going to have to be something, Tito, and maybe this is where, obviously it's going to be contracts eventually, I would think, with some of these kids. But these kids are going to have to get the ability to have an agent and have an agent do all these deals with them and have this stuff in writing so they're going to be able to be taken care of for this.
Do you know how long Leonard Hamilton's been the head coach for Florida State?
It's probably been about 12 years.
He's been there since 2002.
Oh, wow. Longer than that.
Yes.
Wasn't he at Miami for a while?
I think he was. He's in his 37th season. He's 76 years old. His 37th season head basketball coach. He's been at the Seminoles since 2002.
He was in the NBA for a while, too,
I think you're right about that. I believe you're correct on that one, yes. Yeah, it was that UNLV kid said he was supposed to get a $100,000 NIL deal he never received. So we'll see if more of that kind of stuff starts happening.
Tyvis is in here because we just had Joshua Perry on, and
does he
you
want to say
snuck
something
him the other day.
I know. Tyvis, I believe that Joshua won the argument. Okay, he's looking at me.
He can't hear. He said he believes Joshua won the argument.
No, he didn't.
Okay.
No, he didn't. He confessed. Listen, first of all, he confessed without confessing. Secondly, I showed you the evidence. You literally watched this man not pick up his responsibility. So therefore, I had to be the hero because I do that from time to time. I throw a cape on. I save the day.
Were you the hero on that play?
What did he say?
I'm asking you, were you the hero on that play?
No, I was the villain.
You were the villain, exactly. Okay, that's all we needed to hear on that one. But Tyvis is up next with Eric Reeser, and he'll be sticking around. Also, Baker will be here for a while, and then Cole will check in on that one. Our fan poll for today. And Baker, it's kind of weird for me to put this out there because it doesn't really apply to you and I. But
we're working.
I know, because we have this is what we work on the holidays. That's what we do.
It's what we do. We're here for the people, Tito.
Yes. Today's fan poll, 971thefan.com. It's the Monday before New Year's Eve. Are you working? 3 choices. Yes, no, yes, but not really. You and I both picked the yes, but not really, right?
I mean, it's always debatable if you're working.
Oh, there's no doubt about it. Yes, no doubt about that. Right now, no is winning that poll with 45%. And 40% say yes, 15% says yes, but not really. I have to believe if I was doing a regular job today, a 9-to-5 type job today, which I'm not, but if I was doing that, it would be yes, but not really still for me. I don't think I would be working.
It is tough, especially the way I grew up, to say that what we do here is working.
I know.
It's tough for me to say that because I know the alternative. What my dad did for a living, now that's working. That's hard work.
Oh, yeah. My dad as well, and our grandparents as well. All of that, yes. It is we are very blessed to do what we do. And thanks to everyone on the chat for chiming in today, by the way. We got a lot of different people responded. We got almost a couple of people who are watching us on the chat on YouTube. Make sure you stick around again for the next show, Bishop and Friends, on that one. But, yeah, I would say that we're very fortunate to do what we do and to be able to fill in all this. But tomorrow, Beamer will be back, but Beamer and Bobby will be back, and it will be Bodie back there running things. So that you'll get their preview on that as well. I want to make sure we thank all of our guests today before we get out of here shortly. But, thank you to Bill Bennett for the Sporting News for joining us, and then also Bob McElligott, play-by-play voice for the Jackets. And then also at the end there, you had Joshua Perry on the Bryant Heating and Cooling Systems fan guest hotline. So this is my last show of the year, Baker. I know you're doing the next show. Is that done for you then after that? Or are you back again on?
I will be producing Rothman and Ice tomorrow from noon to 3 on this fine radio station. So
I don't believe we'll see an upset in the quarterfinal games.
I've been ridiculed for this.
Go ahead.
I think Boise State beats Penn State.
Really?
I do. I think we are overlooking Boise State. They gave Oregon's toughest game of the year outside of Ohio State.
They did at Oregon.
I think it's unquestioned that right now Oregon is the best team in the country. Until they possibly get beat, they are the best team. And I think Ashton Genty's a really, really, really good football player. I think he's got a chip on his shoulder because he didn't win the Heisman Trophy, and I think that team is out to prove something. And James Franklin is still James Franklin.
Well, okay, a couple things there. First of all, I know Genty had a good game against Oregon the first time around, and they lost that one very close, 3-point game in Eugene. This is a big game for him, though, also, because he gets a chance. If they can somehow win this game and he has a monster performance, that will do wonders for his draft stock. And I say wonders, it might mean he goes in the top 7 versus the top 20. You know what I mean? I shouldn't say one, because it will help his stock. I still think the Cowboys take it no matter what, right?
I mean, are the Cowboys? Yeah, they're picking kind of in the middle, probably. I mean, that seems like a good fit, right?
I think that's probably the floor for him.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? With where we're at on that. James Franklin, now, he made to the Big Ten championship, still has not beaten Oregon, Michigan, Ohio State kind of thing. So there's still that thing with him. But he did get a win last week, significant win for his legacy.
He did.
So we'll call that a big win. Does he need to get this win, though, also?
Oh, absolutely. Listen, Ohio State, to me, this year, beating Indiana and Penn State, technically those are top 5 wins. They really weren't top 5 wins, right? Last week, beating SMU, it was the college football playoff, but is that really a big win for Penn State? I don't know. Yeah, he absolutely needs this one.
I can't believe that you just said that. Yes, that was a big win for James Franklin. He hadn't done a thing since 2016. They needed to see it in an environment where everything is on the line. You need to see him have some success there because he hadn't done it since 2016. Listen, is SMU that great? They had a good season.
Is it a top 5 win? No.
Is it the same as beating Ohio State or Oregon? No. It's not that. SMU is good for the ACC.
It's the environment that I tell you what, that Penn State, this is the same Penn State team that they was losing it in the Big Ten championship, but they did a good job of coming back and making it an interesting game. Come back and lose. Listen. I'm just saying, you can see the steps, you can see the progression. I know it's no such thing as a good loss, but like you can at least tell, like against that Oregon team, like that to come back and only lose by 7 points. I've seen the quarterback take strides, the receiver take strides. That offense started to click more. I'm actually excited to see what they do. I got a buddy of mine who said that he got his national championship as Ohio State versus Penn State. So how about that?
Who's your buddy?
His name's Dustin Fox.
Oh, okay.
Go Bucks.
Well, that's legit,
Big name dropper over there.
That was.
Tyvis Powell. Listen, Vegas was right last weekend on all of these games, and they're saying Penn State's a big-time favorite in this one. So maybe they're right, and I'm totally wrong. I just got a feeling.
Both rushing records is going to get broke this year, NFL and NCAA. Ashton Genty's going to break Barry Sanders, and Saquon's 100%.
Now, we talked about this. I give Saquon more credit for that than Ashton Genty breaking this one. And Ashton Genty, I love. He's great because there's so many more games than what Barry Sanders did it in.
I go off of the attempts. And right now, they have the amount of attempts that Ashton Genty has is exactly identical to the attempts that Barry Sanders had, 344.
That was, yes.
So, yeah. That's still impressive.
It's very impressive.
Now, Saquon, on the other hand, he got like 30 carries less than Eric Dickerson, and he about to shatter that.
By the way, on the
chat.
Does
he play, though?
It's against the Giants. Yes, he's playing.
You think so? Well, they've already clinched their spot.
You got a chance. Did AP play in his last one? Yes, he did.
By the way, back to basics in the chat. Said Tyvis's Guardians hat is fire.
Thank you. I said it. Tim Hall.
You know what I
said?
said?
Shout out to Tim Hall.
Tim got you that hat?
Yes.
You guys love giving each other gifts, don't you? Don't worry about the other guys.
Tito, don't worry. I got your back.
I know. Look, I'm just telling you.
I got your back.
Seriously? Merry Christmas.
Yeah, this is a Christmas gift from Tim Hall.
Am I going to have to assemble my own grill, or will it show up already assembled?
For you got to assemble it yourself.
So Back to Basics says that Tyvis's Guardian hat is fire. My response, he has to wear a hat. No offense.
Hey,
Merry Christmas.
I started to wear my bandana in here today.
Easy.
I know you do too, Baker. Anyway, coming up next, make sure you stick around. It's Bishop and Friends, Tyvis, Reeser, Baker. That's next. Morning Juice on the Fan.
Fan traffic.
From the Atlas Butler Plumbing Services Traffic Center.
We've got a couple of slow spots out there. There was an accident on I-670 eastbound on the off-ramp to 270 northbound. Use some caution connecting there. Also, we do have a stall on 670 eastbound at Cleveland Avenue. That is on the left shoulder. And those traffic lights are still not working properly. High Street at Rich Street. So you're slow in all directions. I'm Heather Pasco for 97.1, The Fan Traffic.
Is a Fan Action Update.
Download the Prime Sports Ohio app today or visit primesportsbook.com. Use the promo code JustSports for a welcome bonus of up to $100. Your 4 college football playoff lines. Penn State's a 10.5-point favorite over Boise State. Texas is a 13.5-point favorite over Arizona State. The Buckeyes are a 2.5-point favorite over Oregon. And Georgia's a 1.5-point favorite over Notre Dame. For your Prime Sports Action Update, I'm Scotty Vegas.
Looking to end the year strong? Join Planet Fitness now through December 30th for $1 down, $15 a month, and pay nothing until January 17th. With top-tier strength and cardio equipment, free fitness training, and most clubs open 24 hours, everyone can level up in the judgment-free zone. Why wait to start feeling stronger? Get moving now. Join for $1 down, $15 a month, cancel anytime, and pay nothing until January 17th. Don't miss out. Deal ends Monday, December 30th. See club for details.
Giant Eagle is making it easy to surround yourself with savings on hundreds of items every time you shop. With new low prices, deals for days, weekly sales, and My Perks at your neighborhood Giant Eagle. Visit gianteagle.com for details.
Men, it's the new year, and for many of us, it's a time of deciding to make positive changes in our lives. This is Jeff for Tri-State Men's Health, and if you're suffering with erectile dysfunction and are tired of the frustration and embarrassment ED causes, you should call Tri-State Men's Health today. Because there probably isn't a better resolution you can make than to be done with ED. You see, ED doesn't just affect you, it can also affect your partner, even if they don't talk about it. But here's some great news. If you're like most guys, the treatments at Tri-State Men's Health will give you back your sex life. Because our protocols have success rates that work in well over 90% of cases. Seriously, you might even find you're performing like you haven't in years. So, make an appointment and get ED out of your life. Your initial visit is only $99 and includes blood work, a medical consult, and if medically advised, a test dose. And if that test dose doesn't work in the office, your visit is free. Call 800-900-9654. That's 800-900-9654 or go to tristatemenshealth.com. Tri-State Men's Health, a Promenic restorative health practice.
Care Heating and Cooling. When you need a company you can trust, call 1-800-COOLING.
You deserve the peace of mind that comes with affordable health insurance. Get Covered Ohio can help at no charge. Financial assistance is available and coverage is more affordable than ever. Some health insurance plans are as low as $10 or less a month. Don't wait. Open enrollment ends January 15th. Make your free appointment today by calling 833-628-4467 or visit getcoveredohio.org. This message is supported by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services, but does not necessarily represent the official views of the U.S. government. Sponsored by the Ohio Association of Food Banks, aired by OAB and this station.
Texting enrolls you in a recurring automated marketing text messages. Consent not required to purchase. Message and data rates may apply.
The team's looking good this season. I think so. Man, I miss playing football. Being young with unlimited energy to burn. Ever since I turned 40, I just can't find that fire I used to have.
Think you could be lower testosterone?
What do you mean?
All guys lose their edge when they turn 40. The body has less testosterone. That's why I take Nugenix Total T.
I've heard about Nugenix. That really works?
Since I started taking Nugenix, I'm lifting like when we played for Coach Carter. I feel more energized at work. It's even spiced up things between me and the missus.
Are they still giving out complimentary bottles for people to try?
Yep, send a text. It's that easy.
Text STAY to 42424 right now for your complimentary bottle of Nugenix Total T. It's the #1 selling testosterone boosting brand at GNC and Walmart. Do it now and they'll also send you a bottle of Nugenix Thermo X, their newest, most powerful fat burner ever, absolutely free. Text STAY to 42424. That's STAY to 42424.
These statements have not been evaluated by the FDA. This product is not intended to diagnose